So it is a statement of confidence, I think, to go with a draft like this. You're assuming and you're saying, heads up, we are going to win pretty much every single skirmish. If they start falling behind, it starts to look really, really bad for them because they are not that great at like de-pushing these waves if they come out. Sure, you can keep sliding through, throw in the avalanches and stuff, but you suck at dealing with the big ball, so you just have to ensure you're always on the front foot, always dragging heroes out of position with the disrupt and the tiny. This feels good to me because if you're an RNG fan, you would imagine and envision them playing this only if they're supremely confident that they are the better team. So Boom Esports, what do you want to see as a response here at the very end of the draft for this Ember Spirit to deal with him? So far, it's what? Him matched up against the Leshrac in the mid lane? Yeah. Is there something else you'd like to see? Maybe they put some Invoker in for Yopaj and then shift Leshrac into the safe lane?
Yeah, I feel like they might have to go for something along those lines. Okay, they're just going to go fall back for the Pudge. Okay, I like this Pudge pick. You know, Jackie's been able to pick that up a few times for Boom Esports, and Pudge is going to be able to pick up the Leshrac here. So I think they're all kind of in an awkward spot. Maybe if it wasn't an Ember Spirit that came out for RNG, I still would have liked them to go for the Wisp and then try and transition this Tuskar into something like a mid lane. Maybe that still would have been a relatively A-OK way for them to do it. You know, Jackie's been able to pick up the Leshrac and then Yopaj picks up the Tuskar and they have this Tusk versus Ember Spirit matchup. I'd imagine that matchup's relatively okay for the Tusk. He's naturally kind of got a lot of stats and should be able to fight out a lot of this this damage that comes in from the Ember Spirit. But I like the response to the Pudge. My only issue is, though, is the Pudge into the Slark matchup. Slark just has this good time where he's able to freely steal a lot of these stats coming in from the Pudge, the Tidehunter. These team fights start going a little bit longer. They get kited out by the glitch, by the avalanche tosses, by everything that the Ember Spirit's been able to do. That they don't have this kind of issue of sticking on some of these targets. But I think outside of that, they should have relatively good lanes, good ways of being able to deal with it. FBZ is going to have a bit of a rough time. Kind of been put on an island, but I'm looking towards Tims to make these rotations and alleviate a bit of pressure here for Boom, whereas RNG, I think their draft is relatively straightforward. You know, they've got an Enigma, they've got the Ember Spirit, Somnus is going to do Somnus things, Ghost just going to have to get up that Aghanim Scepter, get up that BKB, probably try and get in towards the Silver Edge as well, get in towards the back line, start doing some Slark things, and play on the front foot is exactly the way that you put it. And I think that's the best way to play here for RNG, always on the front foot.
That is the one thing that's going to be iffy about this, is that there will be a period of time at the very early portion of the game after the laning phase has broken down and in the earlier parts of the mid game where RNG are going to be feeling a little bit of a lack of damage. They won't be able to burst down targets very quickly all the time. They'll have to rely on Somnus just popping off and the help of the time to do so. But once they start kicking into gear, once they start getting bigger and bigger, elongated fights will pretty much be impossible for Boom. Yes, they'll have the Tidehunter, yes, they'll have this Pudge, but you'll also have the Slark, like you mentioned, just happy to chomp people up, move into the edge of the fight, and come back because they'll have this massive mobility advantage. But let's find out where this goes. Is it the Slark game for Ghost? Is it going to be the Jackie Boys Pudge winning things out for the side of Boom Esports? Game number one, the final series of the day here on Stream D. Let's get into it, Fluke. Which way are we going? Which way are we going? I mean, I feel like anybody who's ever heard me on a microphone doesn't even have to ask which team.
Yeah, definitely the Chinese bias coming in there from Mr. Snare, but I don't know. I really like both of these drafts. I like the response that came in from RNG, but I definitely feel like Boom got some good heroes to make their own transitions here. We've seen Pudges kind of fall flat today, but we've also seen Pudges pop off pretty hardcore. I'm just going to give Boom a slight edge.
Buram kalau di Twitch lebih jernih kayak.
Where RNG, I feel like, as you said, in the early stages of the game, they're going to run out of damage at a certain point. And I think that's when Boom's going to be able to take advantage.
Players over here, let them focus up. This is, after all, the international, the biggest.
No matter what, this is going to be a very fun game of Dota. Boom already stacked up on the high ground. We're looking for some cheeky kind of hook play, but I think they realized that RNG is probably caught onto this.
Absen.
Merge with 4 heroes of their own to try and contest.
Oh, nggak bisa bahasa Inggris, sama.
Nobody's dying first blood. It's all good. It's all chilled.
Yeah.
Mau nonton dulu coy.
Abis
ini baru mau main Overwatch 2.
Well, actually RNG have been able to pick up an additional
malam minggu kan nih.
If Kaka or Chalice goes to check in the jungle,
tanggal berapa nih? Tanggal 15 Sabtu.
It's very dangerous to walk up the hill. Definitely not worth the outlay of gold that a bounce rune at minute 0 gives you.
Check it, FBZ. Nobody's getting the low little bounty rune.
Thursday,
The radiant
Friday.
bounty route, it's gonna be stuck
Siap.
there. Nobody's gonna get it. Nobody wants to check it.
Malam
Both teams
Minggu,
were too scared to go
siapa
towards
yang
that
begadang
radiant
sampai
bounty
jam
route.
4 subuh?
It's like, yeah,
Tidak
no,
ada.
want to be a part of this. They also did have the lane swap as well, so Boom are definitely a team that didn't want to have to show this early on. So a bounty rinse is going to go begging for a little bit here until somebody makes the first rotation at 3 minutes. But I like this transition from Boom. They know that they can put a lot of pressure on towards top, especially if they get a few of these hook plays, especially with Scam and Tins here as well. They're forcing XNDRA to TP back towards a tier 1. So I like this opener that comes in here from Boom. They understand that they can put a little bit of extra pressure on towards the Slark because he is one of those weak laners in the first couple of levels. And if they're able to get a few kills early on, FBZ is just going to be FBZ Titanry in the bottom side, and now it's all about this musical chairs. Ghost is dead.
Fortunately, that musical chair might require us
Tadi
to
nice ada
have
mabar
Ghost
ini
kill
ya.
first, and
Roblox lah, nggak ada.
Jackie emerges with the first blood. Tims might
Raiden
end up
main
taking
nggak
the
ya
tumble here.
Roblox?
Unfortunately, is there enough damage? No, there isn't. Survives on 25 HP.
Kita
See the
tadi
danger levels that can be
dapat
expressed on the
10
slot, though.
penonton
At level
guys.
1, he only has a point for the
Channel
dog
khusus
pack, no
Roblox.
pounds available, so cannot remove himself from the eye shots.
10 orang
They
yang
immediately
nonton
bring him
tadi,
bottom.
yang
Like,
mabar,
well, we don't want to do with this, but guess
berapa
what?
orang ya?
His homies are coming with
4
him. It's a
orang.
party. They're all down bottom.
Yeah, this is the TI musical chairs. This is my favorite
parah
times
lah.
now. This is where I love seeing these mind games that come out between these teams. Only in TI
Iya, aku
is
lupa
when you
lihat
see these
suaranya.
lanes go
Aman
out
nggak
and
nih?
you know that it is
Tes,
all
1, 2,
about
3.
the musical
Gede
TP
ya
scrolls,
suara
right? Where
game-nya.
Ghost says, well, I've died, so I've got to
Nggak
TP
pernah
to
ya.
some lane. My Enigma's already here, so I guess I've got to go bottom. And then Jackie just goes, okay, I'm going to follow you too. Now you
Speaker
don't have a
gedein
TP scroll.
juga.
I don't have a TP scroll
Seru
either, but
nontonnya,
are you
suara gede.
really going to try and walk top? I'm going to take those couple of minutes
Lama nih,
of
2
CS
game
and
coy.
experience and be perfectly
Satu
happy
game
with
kalau
it. So
sejam berarti 2
it's
jam
always
nih
good to
nonton
be
nih.
the team that makes the first rotation when it comes to these lane swaps.
Semoga
because
game
90%
cepat
of
lah,
the
Boom
time
menang
you
lah,
get on top,
40 menit
especially
lah
if
paling
you
lama gitu kayak.
Bottom, though,
30
we might
menit
actually have a
kelar
kill
kayak.
happening as well here onto Kaka.
Apalagi
He's
bisa
attempting to run
20
away
menit
from
kelar,
Sims.
mantap.
Sims has access to the snowball
Jarang.
and eye
Lebih
shots
30
again.
menit.
Just came back on cooldown, so it's going to lead into
Lebih
another
sering
kill.
sejam ya.
Feels very, very good. And they're committing still to this full tri-lane idea. They're not going to come in dribs and drabs. They're like, yo, man, you're playing into a tri-lane Ghost, and there's nothing you can do about this. FBZ has migrated to the top lane, but it's playing into Disrupt to Enigma. You'll be fine. You'll be okay. And here comes another one. Kaka's coming top. They're actually going to try move in for a kill, though. X-Nova has access to the Glimpse, and Chalice does have the Malefice stun. So FBZ should die. Ghost doesn't want to get left out of the party. So he shows up as well.
Kena
They
comeback
surround
ya.
FBZ. They really want this edgy. FBZ does not want to give it to him. The flag bearer creep actually blocking a bit of the approach here. Ghost finally able to get on top of him. Can they give him the
Oh,
kill?
no.
Bro,
Lah, nggak
he
usah
is
lagi.
making them work
jalan
for this
terus.
one. FBZ, my god. Will eventually end up dying.
Nice try.
But Slock, no bonus agi for you, my friend. And FBZ, that's how you lane a side hunter. You draw 4 heroes to the top side of the map for a whole 30 seconds. What a player.
FBZ must be absolutely chuckling to himself right now because that is probably the funnest thing that I've seen all throughout the entirety of today here, Snare. The FBZ, he knows that Ghost wants the permanent agi, so he's just trying to stay away from Ghost as much as he possibly can. And now they're in this awkward scenario where their Enigma's back bottom once again. They got the bottle refill from FBZ back here onto Japoy, and he's going to be going towards this this water rune as well. And I don't know what it is in the water of Boom Esports today, but they are doing some funky, wacky stuff. There are heroes absolutely everywhere at 4 minutes into this game. And I don't think they're going to be slowing down because they understand that the heroes that they have, all they need is experience, right? You know, they've got a Pudge, they've got a Tide Hunter, they've got a Leshrac. Like, these heroes, yeah, they do like a little bit of gold, but they don't need gold to keep fighting. Whereas, you know, on RNG, the Slark needs a few more of these extra items. Chalice really wants to start to build towards his aura items, his Spirit Vessel, all that kind of jazz. And that's where they're able to just kind of walk around the map and be these kind of goofy little goofballs and just make this game weird. I think that's the best thing for these teams, that when they come into some of these games where they might be considered the underdog and might be a little bit hard for them to try and overcome some of these heroes, is if you just make it weird, but you make it weird on your terms, you're going to be the team that actually half understands about what things are going on. You can kind of play that kind of weird Dota style.
The compatriots of RNG back in China on Extreme Gaming are a squad that often plays that style of Dota of just making the game as strange and bizarre as humanly possible. So RNG will have practice against that. We'll see how things go and if they're able to adapt to the changing tides that are happening right now. Let's take a look middle. The only lane that only has 2 heroes involved with each other. Hopefully nobody just goes to try and kill each other on the side. So far, very even on the CS charts here. Of course, Somnus does have a bit more responsibility, right? Because he has to actually do stuff on the map once he hits level 6, level 7. Erstwhile, your Page can just wait for him to leave and then just try and muscle over the tower with the Diabolic Edict. If you're Somnus, where do you think you want to go on the map right now as he starts to accrue levels?
I think the best place for him to try and get a kill is trying to just kill Skem early on. Obviously, Jackie is feeling pretty good with how his Pudge is going right now. He's got the phase boost and he's just putting a lot of pressure onto Chalice. So I would like to see him make a rotation with the Disruptor, try and kill onto Skem, or maybe if they can take your Pudge here as well. An awkward fight at top.
Very awkward fight. Nova should end up getting burnt down here. Try to glimpse back on one of the targets, but unfortunately, glimpse is counteracted by the snowball. Somnus in the meantime is actually chasing Skem around. Doesn't have access to the chains, but should be able to get this kill. Unless Skem is going to go for the most epic deny ever of all time. He's just going to waste his time. Well, I think he took some cues from what FBZ was doing in the top lane and being like, sometimes just frustrating them, wasting their time makes it a lot easier.
Yeah, just buying a bit of extra time, right? Like, the fact that it took that extra couple of seconds for Somnus to get that kill there on a Skem meant that Yopaj was able to clear off a creep camp, get himself a few of this extra bit of gold going his way as well. And Leshrac can abuse a lot of these stacks that are going forward, and that's what he's going to try and do right now. Make a triple stack here on the hard camp. He's going to have the Pulse Nova. He's going to have Skem here as well to be able to get that going. But first, he just needs to push out this mid lane, be okay with it, and then Yopaj is going to have a lot of gold going in towards his pocket. So game state has started to calm down a little bit here. RNG relatively okay with how this is going. Ghost, considering the musical chairs that he had to play at the start of the game, has recovered nice and well. He's at the top of the net worth right now. He's feeling really good with how things are going, and Boom really haven't been able to get any more of these extra kills after the opening 3 that they got. So you're pretty happy if the RNG. Somnus has been in his own little bubble. Chalice has been getting his farm up as well. He's almost on that level 6. He's already got the urn built up. So, yeah, all in all, RNG feeling pretty good with how this game is going. And I guess the same thing with Boom as well. We're not all too sad with how this game set is.
Not everybody is that happy, though. Scambelu about to have a bit more misery injected into his experience as he gets taken down in this bottom lane. All right, so that's nice for Chalice as well. Sometimes you get to farm heroes. It's very enjoyable. And then after you do that, you just keep chilling. Get that early Wraith pack going as soon as possible. As Somnus needs to be careful here, playing around where Tims is. Yopaj has come back to try and assist. Of course, the split earth, pretty difficult to try and lock down there. Came very close to killing Tims. Man, Somnus starting to feel some of their lack of experience from this mid lane between himself and Yopaj. He was able to get like CS on par with the Leshrac, but he was out denied, so he is behind on the levels. Doesn't have access to the Searing Chains just yet. If he had chains, like, there's so many moments up until this point in this game where Searing Chains would have made such a difference. But he'll get there eventually, even if he doesn't see it just yet. Hook shot, or hook rather, thrown out onto the young Tiny. Tims almost died inside this Midnight Pulse. They do get the kill onto Kaka first. Somnus, though, makes his way towards bottom. And that is an answer towards the question I asked you earlier. Where is he going to go first? Turns out he's going to go bottom, and he's going to immediately get a kill as he does so.
Yeah, I think bottom was probably going to be the best way for him to go there. Just kind of gives them a little bit of this extra pressure. They've always got kill threat with Chalice as well. It's going to be oh so hard to try and kill this Tide Hunter. Yopaj understands that as well. Understanding that Ghost as well as XNDRA really don't want to be a part of this, and the fact that you've got a level 9 Leshrac now maxed out with Diabolic Edict, FBZ. Level 6 on the Tide Hunter, so access to the Ravage just means that Boom are going to have this pretty strong ball that they can kind of just smash in towards these tier 1 towers. And who's really going to respond, right? RNG, they don't want to send Chalice there because he's getting ever closer towards his own side of his offering. Ghost still extremely far behind, having to go for this Mage Slayer early on. That's the kind of only real response that you have as a Slark against this Leshrac counter to your hero. Is getting the Mage Slayer early on and just trying to get some of these fights where you can build up some of these stats early on and then get towards things like the BKB and the Skadi. So they are understanding that RNG need to try and alleviate a bit of the pressure that's going to come to them in the next couple of minutes, right? It's starting to hit that exponential point, especially now with Jack Boy being able to catch out Kaka.
Trying to force a fight. The silence will help them get this kill. Somnus showed up, but Somnus has no mana here. forcing the envelope a little bit. So does have more bottle charges at the ready. Will choose to pop it. The Indus do come out. Really would like to chase down Jackie, but at this stage of the game, probably not going to end up happening. So Somnus already showing us the style of Ember Spirit we can anticipate out of him today. Going to be moving around the map quite a lot. Because they're unable to get that kill though, that does leave FBZ very happy in his lane, getting closer towards having Blink Dagger. Tims is doing the same. I must say, as much as RNG are probably like, okay, we're getting the farm that we want, boom, starting to get into that slight moment of acceleration, especially with Yopaj. Already finished off the full Hood of Defiance. Yule Scepter coming soon, top of the net worth. This Leshrac, for a significant portion of time, up until there's like Mage Slayer, maybe 1-2 items, maybe even a Blink from Enigma so he can black hole him. This Enigma's going to be, or the Leshrac rather, going to be a big, big problem in this game.
Yeah, I think Yopaj is really starting to hit that nice little item spike that we've got right now. 11 minutes in. Not really that many items completed on the side of RNG. Getting ever closer towards that Mage Slayer here for Ghost, and maybe they're able to defend some of these towers, but nobody's really making any of these extra moves. The only real tower that we've dropped so far has been this top tier 1 tower. FBZ is doing a good job to be able to hold the bottom one up against Chalice there. And both these teams just happy to farm out. You know, obviously we know that RNG, they want to build towards this Mage Slayer +1 item for Ghost. Somnus still hasn't gotten his first item yet. I like that he's decided to fall back for this Orb of Corrosion as well. Just means that he gets that little bit of extra damage to try and finish off some of these kills that he missed out on early on. And then he's going to go in towards the Blade Mail. Just a natural counter up against the Leshrac. He wants to try and stand in these team fights with the maxed out Flame Shield. And
kayak 50 menit nih kelar.
Somnus inside Radiant jungle right now.
Halo
Mid tower
Zat.
taken down. Yopaj just way too strong. So they don't even bother trying to mount a
libur
defense
semua
here.
ya kita ya.
Ghost also just feeling a little bit fragile. Only
Kalau
1,000
bangun pagi,
HP
lep pagi
available
lah
on
besok.
our slog. So it doesn't want to force any issues. I'm kind of intrigued as to what RNG's plan is soon. Let's just drag back FBZ like they want to try and go onto him with Somnus. They will have access here to the Flame God, but unfortunately they lack the damage. You know, we spoke about this earlier, that at this early point, man, they just don't do anything, RNG. It takes so long before they get to the point where that starts to change. We still don't have access to the steering chains from Somnus, so you can't hold these heroes in position for the catch-up. You see elsewhere on the map, the Silencer did end up getting picked off by Ghost and Kaka. At bottom, they can't really put pressure onto FBZ. Chalice even gives away a small Eidolon on me. That can't feel good, but
masih buah apa tuh?
FBZ ecstatic about this. They've held the tower.
Tapi udah di
They
sub kan
forced
channel yang
commitment of
Roblox kan.
moves, knowing full well that these heroes can't really do anything else but farm on this side of the map after the move doesn't connect.
Kukira bakal
So,
sepi tadi tuh,
esports
yang nonton cuma
just
2
generally
atau
feeling
3
themselves
orang,
on the map
10
right
orang
now.
yang nonton rame
Xnova,
tadi.
is he dead or is he
Mabar
very
awal-awal
dead?
rame
Let
lah.
us find out.
Berempat,
Oh, he's not
berlima.
dead. Not neither. He's cool.
Itu makin
Glimpse
sore makin
sends back
sepi.
the
yang mabar.
assaulting hero. Hence
Karena
they
udah
came,
mau
so he doesn't have to
maghrib
worry
ya.
about himself.
Terlalu sore tadi.
yeah, getting the glimpse back there on FBZ. I
Nonton
thought
Dota,
maybe
aku
they
dari
might
pagi
want to
nonton
commit
Dota.
an early Ravage here just because they know that RNG
Jam
don't want to
10
have
gue
this fight
main. Dia itu jam
too
berapa
early
lagi
on.
dia main tadi ya?
So feeling like
Sore,
they can
jam
try and
3.
sit back and
Nah,
farm
ini
a
malam
little bit
main
as
lagi,
well,
3
but
kali main.
still being able to hold on to this. Yopaj is getting ever close towards his Bloodstone, and we talked about a lot of these item spikes coming in from Boom. I think this Bloodstone from Yopaj is just going to mean he's going to be able to turn up the aggression to 11. We've seen throughout the entirety of LCQ and throughout the entirety of this group stages today what
masih
Leshrac
group
can
stage,
do with
coy.
Bloodstone. I was talking to you as we were
Nanti
in the
dua
break
orang
before we got into our series
dieliminasi
here
ya.
on the D stream.
2
I
orang.
can't believe
4
that
tim
one
maksudnya.
specific hero makes one
Kayak gini
specific
gambar
item look
bracket
so
kayak gini.
broken when it actually needs a nerf.
Nah, jadi peringkat
And that is the
nih
Bloodstone
yang
Leshrac
paling bawah
combination.
nanti
They
pulang
find Ghosty, this
4
could be
tim
big.
ya.
Boom, looking for a bit of aggression. The Global Silence comes out.
Baru
They need to
yang
connect.
Great
yang
logo.
lolos playoff
He's dead.
yang di
He's
atas.
so dead. They do
4
find him.
timnya
Oh no,
pulang.
I need to stop saying that. How did they?
Bawa
So,
koper, naik pesawat
What
dari
happened is that
Singapura.
I don't think did he take the Leshrac in the snowball? I don't think he did.
I don't think he did.
So they
Yeah,
couldn't
they-
Come.
Yeah, he
Pulang,
couldn't close
come.
the gap to get off the split earth. It's a bit unfortunate.
Waduh, air minum habis nih coy.
Ah well, these things
Belum
happen.
muar kan? Ambil
Yeah,
putih dulu.
I mean,
These
it
things do
was a
indeed
nice
occur.
idea with the Global Silence, but just not being able to follow it up with anything more, right? Like you saw the Global Silence and Ghost just had to tuck himself in towards those trees. He was able to do that, and Yopaj just wasn't close enough to split us. But now with Global Silence down, I think this is a good time here for RNG. You can see that they want to get aggressive. They've got the Black Hole, they've got the Static Storm, FBZ, perfect target.
They are a bit worried about the Ravage, but let's see if they have enough damage to kill him off before that becomes an issue. Looks like that will be the case. Although there are heroes streaming into the tier 1 tower, they don't want to fully commit into trying to jump on the high ground, especially with Jackie still farming the triangle right now. So Tidehunter does find himself being brought down in this mid lane. And they're going to keep this push onto the tier 1 tower mid as well. Okay. This is decent timing here for the side of RNG. They bounce him out the jungle, they get the kill. It is unfortunate that it does require their entire lineup. That's the issue with their draft right now, right? They don't have enough power spikes on the Slug nor the Ember Spirit that either of them can be left out of this rotation. It does require everybody to be involved to make things happen on this map.
Meanwhile, on the other side of things, Jackie's just really been able to farm up. He's getting ever closer towards that Aghanim Scepter. FBZ has the Ravage. He's going to Ravage from the trees. Looking towards Somnus. He's got a Remnant.
Okay. Remnant's out. The thing is, it's such a hard decision to make, right? Oh, wait, hold that thought. They toss him forward. Kaka throws him into the rest of the squad. Might have set himself up for failure, though. Gets himself killed very early on. Fortunately for him, doesn't seem like Boom Esports was set up to take advantage of a Ravage, so FBZ would not let it rip. Yopaj does finish off the Bloodstone. That was a weird-ish kind of fight that ended up happening here. It felt like neither side really wanted to use any of their spells, right? For fear of what would happen immediately afterwards. Like, well, we use the spell now. Now we don't have it available to fight for the next X amount of time. As is the older dodge. It's not the black hole, it's not the Ravage, it's the fear of set spells at times. So not making them make sense.
Yep. It's all about the posturing. It's all about the fear of the 5-man Ravage. Can FBZ hit the sickest clip of his life? RNG be able to sidestep it. They've got a lot of items coming up now for RNG that are able to kind of weather them through this storm that was going to be this awkward kind of mid-game timing for them. Kaka's got a Blink Dagger. Somnus is getting about 100 gold away from his Maelstrom as well, so their damage is going to start to ramp up. This Wraith Pact as well as the urn that comes in from Charles. I like this kind of Enigma build where you're not relying so heavily on the black hole. It's much more about you being in the team fights, utilizing a lot of your spells and a lot of rounds of those spells. Means that he's just able to stick in these team fights and do a lot of work. Obviously, X-Nova being the position 5 player is generally lacking on the net worth, so he's a little bit further down the tree than everybody else would like, but everybody else around him on RNG are definitely starting to hit these item timings. Slark's getting close towards his Aghanim Scepter here. He's only the point booster away, and once that comes up, then Boom really haven't been able to abuse their kind of early game timings.
Kalau orang nyebut push rank di otak aku ada banyak.
Aghanim Scepter.
Di Dota 2 push rank, di Valorant push rank, di Overwatch push rank, ML push rank.
They are certainly trying to open up the map
kalau main game-game push rank nih, PUBG push rank.
Not too long ago, we did see the Bloodstone completed for Yopaj.
Tapi paling stres ini dah.
There's ever a time to try and make things happen on the map. Now is that time. Scam obviously still holding on to the Dota side.
Bisa sejam, guys.
They're gonna put some pushing pressure onto the tier 2 tower. Given that this is Diabolic Edict, this goes by very quickly, but the Enigma push down bottom is also not slow by any state of or by any stretch of imagination. So just a straight up trade between the two sides. I don't think anybody really wants to risk a awkward defense here. Now with both of these tier 2s gone, outposts are going to get traded. And it's going to become about who can get control of the
Valorant Mobile belum rilis ya.
We've seen that really be the thing that determines how
pasti
the
YouTuber
early game
gede dapat
actually
itu nanti tuh
ends, who's in
akses ini
possession of their
buat
first
main
and all
Valorant
important
Mobile.
mages. Now that Ghost has also picked up
early
access to this
access
Aghanim.
bahasanya.
They really want to force a fight somewhere.
Sebelum
Look at this, they're
dirilis
actually trying to
di
force a
Play
fight down
Store
bottom.
atau
Having
App
Chalice
Store.
force this push in and then X-Nova waiting in the wings so there's somebody pokes their head out, they either get glimpsed back to the other side of the map or get held in position for a bad fight. And there's Kaka, just goes in raw. Static Storm gets unleashed onto FBZ. Do they have the damage for this though? I'm not 100% sure. Ghost really trying to get this kill and they don't have the damage. Glimpse back. Who did they send away? Nobody. Because Tims is going to be there with a snowball to prevent it from happening. Dodging the glimpse, ensuring that Boom has 5 members back to defend. RNG will be forced to retreat away from this bottom lane if they want to keep their lives.
Yeah, that was big there from Tims. I feel like if that glimpse went through there from RNG, they would have been happy. I believe it was on Tims himself. They got glimpsed all the way back towards the top lane. So now, Boom, they really want to try and run forward. Nobody utilized anything too large. There was only the Shadow Dance as well as the Static Storm. So Boom are more than happy to try and get on the front foot here and really trying to press RNG. You talked about the Roche. I feel like it's going to be pretty hard for both these two teams to try and take Roche. I think the only real team that can kind of have a shout at it is maybe RNG if they get themselves like a DD rune and a little bit of time with the with Roshan himself. But
jadi
these teams are really going to struggle
apa
to try and take Roche in fast kind of manner. And that's why you can see that they're trying to posture and pick apart each other, right? That's why you see RNG pushing in towards that bottom side. They wanted to see if there was going to be an under-rotation or an over-rotation. They wanted to see if there was going to be too many people that got moved around. And if there was too many people setting towards that
FBZ.
tier 3,
Nah, ini yang
they could take
pemain
control of this top
Indonesia
side of the
nih.
map, get themselves a tier 1
Dari
tower,
Boom nih
get
ini.
themselves into the triangle, and hopefully
Indonesia
into Roche. But now the
satu
smoke
aja.
up here from Boom. They want to use this Ravage.
Yang FBZ.
Yet again pops
Oh, the
a
split.
rotation from the side of Boom. The last time around, he was deeper into the jungle where he stops them from being able to kill him. And now he breaks a
Kipas sejuk,
4-hero
mati
smoke.
kipas panas ya.
Feels good to be playing Slug sometimes. Scouts out what Dukung are trying to do here. Kaka is in the trees. Look at the blink daggers. I don't think he dies here. Tumbler's Toy. Wait, did he just dodge the ice shards of Tumbler's Toy and then blink deeper into the trees? What a player.
Oh, he gets out.
Kaka, God. Kaka, God. What a man. But Boom now, they take advantage of this. Look what happens here, Fluke. They read that, well, there's only one place he could have gone under such circumstances. He definitely went home. So he's the one hero that is most influential at breaking us up when we're trying to initiate. So it's time to smoke. Go force a fight somewhere on the map.
But can they get the initiation? That's the big thing for me. Ghost is in the front once again, and Gakhan needs to catch this slug. What is that? Like, it's impossible for them to try and get on top of this slug because they don't want to commit the global, and they don't want to commit a Ravage because he's just going to dark pact it off. RNG, like, the way they're playing around this map is extremely well right now. You're definitely upset if you're a Boom fan. Okay, they found Chalice. Okay, Ravage that bad boy. Okay, we take those.
It feels like he was trying to bait them into using Ravage just as he finishes the TP out, but he might have also just been like, well, if I bait them into using Ravage, they've Ravaged down in front of their own tier 3 tower. We're fighting here, nowhere else, so now when they want to try and move away from that side of the map, they won't have the Ravage available. They still have access to the global side. The Ravage, it's not just a big teamfight spell. FBZ built Blink to make this Ravage good. And now we see Ghost catching out Jackie in the river. I don't think either of them really want this smoke. You know? That's one of those, you're punching each other up for a while and you're like, this is actually not a good idea, is it? Nah. Let's
yeah, I definitely feel like that could have been a scenario if maybe there wasn't a Dark Pact that came out there from Ghost. If they were able to get the bite and then in combination with the Global Silence, that would have been a straight up kill there for Jackie. And it's just been an awkward couple of minutes for Boom. You can tell that they really want to be on the front foot and they want to utilize their big teamfight ultis, but they just haven't been able to. They've been constantly running into Ghost, constantly running into Somnus. Two of the worst heroes for them to try and catch. Yes, they do have the Blink Ravage now, but FBZ has got that bad boy on cooldown. And now Boom are the ones that are going to get aggressed on from RNG. And this is a very, very slow game. Both these teams are really starting to respect each other and understanding that there's a lot of counterplay and a lot of outplay from both the heroes that they have on their teams as well. Here's Snare, and I think this game is just going to slow down even further until we start getting towards these latter stages with, you know, the BKBs being popped when everyone starts to feel A-OK, but that's when you're really starting to favor RNG. You know, Slark getting towards the late game feels really, really strong. We see what Ember Spirits have been able to do. And we've just seen how awkward it's been for Boom for them to try and get these team fights that win and try and get the team fights they want. So this game starts getting later and later. I'm going to start getting more and more scared, I think.
Dire's bottom tower is under attack.
As it stands right now, still posturing around the Roshan pit. Like you mentioned, neither team has an easy way to go into the pit. They still need to poke and prod. A very low-scoring game as well overall. Might be one of the shallower ones in terms of kills. 6 to 7 at the 25-minute mark. I know some of our degenerate gamblers will be watching this and be like, where's our first to 10? What's happening?
My first to 10. But guys, first to 10? Question mark? That's Twitch chat right now. So Twitch chat, we're not up to it just yet. We're playing League of Legends Worlds here currently. It is coming. Hopefully we get something out of it soon. Only a 1k net worth lead as well here, Snare. So really not much to write home about for either of these two teams. Tim's went for a early mechanism here on the Tusker. I don't hate it. But it feels kind of bad now that there's not really that much fighting. Like, it would have been really, really good if we had a lot of these tier fights going on early on. I could imagine the idea was, oh, we've got a Pudge, we've got a Leshrac. We want to constantly fight. We want to constantly be running in towards their faces, and if we have just that little bit of extra burst heal, then maybe some of these fights with the Slark tries to turn around, tries to play the edge of the fight, we're able to turn around, get the kill on the Slark, and then snowball from there. But it just hasn't really worked out, and that's why Tims is going back for this Blink Dagger now. What's Skembaloo got? He's got his 4 stuff up and ready. That's basically all you need. Silencer against the Slark.
Oh, wow.
Oh, no.
Well, what a jump coming in from the Slark. The double pounds, able to catch out and kill the Silencer there. At the same time, though, Jackie able to get the hook back onto Kaka, but he's caught inside the Static Storm now, so he might end up dying for this one. Has the BKB at the ready, so he can just walk through it, but BKB is not eternal. Somnus activate his own BKB right now. Unfortunately, no real catch available. Ghost gets hooked back, and there's no more access to the Shadow Dance. Ghost is going to end up popping. Jackie finally yoinks him back. They put him inside the Ravage, and that's going to be enough for them to not just kill the Slark, but definitively win the skirmish. RNG started it, Boom finish it, and they feel so good about being able to kill Slark while he's trying to get to BKB.
You just see this first, second pounce that came in there from Ghost. Skem was just trying to force up himself away far enough so the second pounce didn't lash onto him. Sometimes in those scenarios, you want to just kind of wait until you get leashed because you will be able to break it with the 4 stuff. But I understand the idea there from Skem just trying to get himself completely out of dodge. But losing the silencer early on and not using the global silencer, still getting the kill onto the Slark there. You're pretty happy if you're Boom right now. Jackie's really getting towards that point where he's starting to hit his critical mass on the Pudge. I talked about the Slark enjoying going in towards the Pudge, but I think the reason why that Boom decided to pick this Pudge here is he can kind of outscale the Slark at an exponential kind of rate, right? Well, they're going to go in on FBZ in the middle lane.
Gak tahu di panggung nanti pakai aquarium lagi nggak ya?
They haven't been able to really put a dent into
aquarium
him as of yet. Somnus shows up to just clear out a creep wave. They're still posturing around each other. The pings are going out for the Roshan pitch here from the side of Boom.
Oh, the glimpse.
Glimpse back onto Jackie. He has BKB, but really didn't want to use it. Now goes in for the BKB during the Static Storm. Eats and dismembers Chalice to prevent the Black Hole counterplay here. So he will able to rot down and kill the Enigma. In the meantime, elsewhere in the fight, Somnus forced to try and TP away from this one. Ghost trying to flee as well. Not going to be allowed to do so just yet. X-Nova throws the glimpse back, just so these heroes get kept as far away from him as humanly possible. But that is RNG losing out on 2. After yet again, they're the ones that initiated the fight. They brought Jackie deeper, but they couldn't find the Black Hole before the BKB dismember came out.
Yeah, I think that was a little bit of an awkward interaction. You want to try and catch the Pudge on top of the midnight pulse as well, and this is kind of circling back to what I was about to say about the Pudge. The reason behind the Pudge is he can kind of outscale the Slark at a faster tempo, right? We've seen what happens as soon as he hits this Aghanim set the BKB timing. Like, what are you supposed to do against this Pudge that does so much damage to you in such a huge AoE? Like, not everyone is able to have these BKBs to try and deal with him. They have to try and find this fine line of committing enough to kill Jackie, but committing enough to kill Jackie in such a fast time that he doesn't kill somebody else with them. We saw how fast he was able to melt through Chalice there as well on the Enigma, and now that he has a Paladin sword, I don't know if you're going to be able to kill Jackie. Like, I think it's gotten to a point now where RNG have kind of just left this Pudge to his own devices for a little bit too long. And the Slark is going to have to get 1 or 2 more items before he can actually deal with this Pudge in his team.
Nyari poin aja ya.
The Ghost is right now a serious sufferer of 1 more item syndrome. It happens. You play these like slogs, clinxes. It's like, man, if I just had this 1 more item, I feel so much stronger. Yeah. He needs BKB really, really badly. I mean, we talked about this AoE damage from the Pudge, but we still have to contest with and deal with the AoE damage from this Leshrac. So until you have BKB, just fighting into the squad is an absolute no-go. And even after that, we want the Eye of Skadi as well. Might even want a +1 item. It's a long road for Ghost. If he gets there, the game does become quite playable for him, but right now, you just stay the hell away from the side of Boom Esports. As they continue to muscle down some towers. They've taken the tier 1 down bottom, looking to clean up yet another tier 2 down in this side of the map. RNG, there's no real big response to this, right? I think you just hold off, try to finish BKB for Chalice. He has Blink Dagger at the ready, so if they come up the hill, nice, he's fine, dude. Slash Shadow Dance. Don't scare me like that, Luke.
Radiant structures
I'm
are
getting jumpy.
fortified.
I'm getting jumpy, Snare. I know you're on a really good point there, but I'm getting jumpy, brother. It's getting spooky for RNG.
Ngajak kawan kan.
Well, spooky for Kaka right now. Gets caught by the tier 2 tower, gets taken out. This will lead to them taking the
Masa
tier 2 in
di-comeback
short order.
lagi kayak game
This
pertama
is so
tadi
scary,
pagi.
just how quickly they can knock these buildings over. Positioning FBZ further forward so that they can both scout out further movements and be there for counter initiation.
menang lagi,
And then
kena
Yopaz just
comeback
presses a
2-0.
solitary button.
Lawan
The building
OG.
just falls over. They might not be done just yet. They still have access to the
Game
Aegis.
kedua,
So
seri
they might want to
1-1.
try again
Nah, ini
to
game
go up onto the
ketiga.
high ground here.
Eddie,
Already
back
committed
out.
the Bloodstone though, so that kind of
Also-
sucks. Chalice gets jumped on. Oh no, that's the worst target. No Enigma means no Black Hole, which means also Fluke, absolutely no team fight. Aren't they gonna come back to defend this?
Ganesh, thank you udah
I
mampir
think
Nesh.
you have to let this go. You're not going to get mega creep. There's still tier 2 towers in towards the mid lane, but like, what is your response supposed to be here for RNG? I don't think they have a response. One, they can't deal with Jackie, and I don't think they're going to be able to kill your Pudge twice. He has BKB, he has Aegis, he has Bloodstone. So it's now gotten to the point where RNG, they go, okay, we're just going to let this first barracks go. We're going to be okay with that. We're just going to leave it be, and then we're going to try and get a few more of these items back up on our members, because Chalice, he needs a BKB. You know, Slark needs a BKB. Somnus needs a BKB. They've at least got 2 of them. But they need the 3rd one here on Chalice, because you saw as soon as this Pudge gets anywhere near the Enigma, he's just dead. And he will just instantly die as well. So ROG understand that they're in this very awkward scenario where they can't really deal with the Pudge, but they don't really have a good way of getting there without items. You know, maybe, you know, in some other instances, in some other games, you might be able to out-team fight him, you know, kind of put him in a weird position with things like the Spirit Burst and stuff like that. But they understand they kind of need to black hole the Pudge by himself. They need to get the BKB so they don't get ravaged. They need to get the BKB so they don't get, you know, randomly global silenced. And I think RNG are just going to have to try and fight their way out of this. They have to get the black hole onto the Pudge, but then they also have to make sure that this global silence is at an awkward time as well. So there's a lot of things that have to go right here for RNG, Snap. They are definitely falling a little bit behind, and my originally purchased Dota Plus has told me this is 91% in favor of Boom. Woo! They're feeling good. They're definitely in the driver's seat for this one, brother.
We started the day with a comeback from a 96% margin. So
True.
a lot can still happen. There's still some hope here as well. The Disruptor has access to this Aghanim Scepter, which I'm not sure if it's been scouted just yet. But if not, could certainly end up surprising Boom Esports. And we're about to find out if they know about this or not as they smoke up, heading into the Dire Triangle. Ghost, yet again, positioned to try and break this one. Who's the first one caught? Oh no! It's Chalice caught first, and the Ravage from FBZ is onto both supports. X-Nova won't be able to escape. Kaka's going to try. He, at the very least, is allowed to live, but Yopaj denies X-Nova that privilege. 2 heroes have fallen here after a massive jump. Somnus caught out with the Yule Scepter. Okay, no, they're trying to hold off onto FBZ and Tims, prevent them from being able to connect with the rest of their team. Aegis has now expired, so Boom Esports are not playing with immortality anymore. You need to be careful. Nonetheless, they're looking quite good here, Fluke. There's no buybacks on the side of RNG, but at the very least, they've been able to delay this upcoming push. Are they going to take this fight, or do they give up yet another lane of racks once the respawns happen?
Oh man, it's so hard. It's like, at some point, yes, you can keep giving up ground, but eventually you're going to lose all that ground, right? Like, you know, we've got the Aghanim Scepter that's been built up here by Somnus. They've got the Aghanim Scepter on X-Nova. They at least, they have ideas. They have good items to be able to get it. And if they're able to pick off Tims here on the Tusk, that's going to be a nice little start for them. So RNG, they take one tiny little step. They get killed on the Tims there. They get themselves a little bit of gold in their back pockets. They move closer and closer to some of these final couple of items. But RNG, they need to have a team fight on their own terms. I think that's the biggest thing for me here, Snare, is they need to make sure that they don't just have Jackie blinking into their backline as a Pudge, hitting a Shiva's Guard and hitting BKB, and then just going, oh crap, what are we supposed to do now? They need to be on the front foot. They need to get this Aghanim Static Storm onto the Pudge, preferably onto both the Pudge and Yopaj at the same time, to be able to try and burst them down in that duration. But it's going to be a hard task, but if any team can do it, I've got faith in RNG.
They've got literally perfect vision of Jackie right now with this high ground ward in the triangle on the Radiant side. So they know where he's at. They know that he's not alone, that he's got his crew with him, but it looks like they're actually trying to stack up for a fight themselves on the side of Boom. How are they going to look for this approach? RNG, is Kaka going to look for the toss-back play that we saw earlier? I think he is. He's going for it. He's going for it. Here we go. Oh! Outplayed, baby. Jackie knew it was coming, prepared for it, and he's now gotten the positioning because he knows where RNG are standing. They're going to get some D-wards in the meantime as well. And it's not looking good for RNG in this situation. They have to try and back as quickly as possible. Somnus, oh no, gets hooked. There's going to be the BKB though coming in from him. Does manage to remnant away. Jackie didn't commit his own BKB. But Somnus could not take the risk of not doing the same. So that is now a BKB down. Roshan is not available, so they can't just mosey on in there on the side of Boom Esports. But they can just reassert control over this dire jungle and make sure that their approach to Roshan is much easier than RNG's.
It's about 30 seconds until we figure out when this spawn is going to be here for Roshan as well. You can just see the movements for RNG. They understand that they need to try and get one of these team fights on the front foot, but it's so hard. They have to hit such a mechanically difficult kind of team fight. They need to isolate the Pudge and then be able to dump their spells on top of him, and they need to be able to do it in such a quick time that Boom Esports aren't able to react. They need to be able to react with their own BKBs to make sure they don't get constantly ravaged, to make sure that Yopaj can't get into this team fight as well. And at the end of the day, Tim's can always save as well because he's got his Blink Dagger now on the Tusks. So yeah, it's a very steep hill here, Snare, but at least they have ways of getting it. They definitely have a clear path, but the path is just very spooky and very hard to try and traverse here.
Basically like going to university or trying to gain MMR in Dota. RNG, they smoke up. It's their opportunity right now to try something. They've tried many things. Unfortunately, like you mentioned, the chain of events that has to happen for success, quite difficult to muster. And boom, they've just gotten a refresher on Jackie's Pudge. Okay.
Okay.
That's
an item.
a lot of Magic immunity. It's double Shivas in the midst of this fight. Double Dismember as well. We've seen how influential that spell can be. But now here comes the first big clash in quite a while. Ghost gets scouted. Ghost gets hexed. Gets off the BKB though because they did have the dog pack going. Has to go to the very early Shadow Dance. They haven't been able to find the Black Hole or the Static Storm. There comes Black Hole at long last. Black Hole does get cancelled thanks to the Global Silence. So now Chalice, his life will be forfeit. Ran down by Jackie. The first casualty of this fight. But now Somna's trying to go back in. There's the Static Storm though. Onto 2 from X-Nova. They have enough to kill Jackie. And now they're leading onto FBZ as well. He does find the Ravage at the end of the day, but it's not going to be enough to save him. Yopaj on the other side of things though, able to solo kill onto Somnus, but I'm not sure if he'll be allowed to escape this fight. Tim's brought back, coming in on the outpost. He's ZPing in here just to ensure that Yopaj is not isolated and alone, but he might still be in a rough spot. Yopaj needs help. Yopaj needs a miracle, but miracles are in short supply as Tim's gets glimpsed back into his death, which is a dieback as well. It cost the lives of Chalice, the life of Somnus, but nonetheless they win the fight at long last here, Fluke, and they force a dieback. And guess what they've done as well? We've opened up the path to the big man as a double damage rune spawns.
Oh, you take that every day of the week. If you're RNG right now, they get themselves 3.8k gold. Looking back at the replay here, they just got baited into that little corner. They were just not completely focused about that Ag Static Storm. FBZ with this Wind Waker being able to get himself away from the Slark. If he didn't have that Wind Waker, Ghost was able to directly get on top of him. I think the fact that at the start of this fight that the Dark Pack came out from Ghost, got rid of the Hex that came out onto him as well, coming in from Yopaj. He put himself in such a good position, and now it starts getting very scary for Boom because RNG, they've tasted a team fight victory. They tasted exactly how this goes, and we've seen Slark games like this now. Everybody's played against the Slark where they absolutely dumps this hero for the entirety of the game. He wins one team fight, he gets a whole boatload of these Eshin Ship stacks, comes back with 1 or 2 extra items, and then the game feels over. So RNG, they're still a little bit behind here. Definitely a little bit behind. They've eked this back from about, 96? It was 94% at the highest point for the win probability. Now they've eked it back to 78. So they're definitely at a point here where RNG are starting to wrangle this game back, and they have the late game Slark. So this is where this game really starts to feel good, and maybe Boom may have kind of put themselves behind the 8 ball by not being able to finish the game just in time.
Yeah. Still do have that lane of racks to be happy about since it's a source of constant push-in on the bottom side of the map. an additional worry for RNG, so they keep having to address it. Life would be much worse right now if the lane state was even. But like you mentioned, Ghost is starting to get stronger. So is the Ember Spirit. One thing that can be frustrating as well is there are some limitations to exactly how you can itemize to become unkillable on the Leshrac. So that entire responsibility is on Jackie, but Jackie still has to deal not just with the Static Storm coming in from the Disruptor. We do have a Silver Edge available now for the slot. So both Pudge and the Tidehunter not too happy about this. Being broken always sucks. The outlay of damage not fun to deal with.
It definitely feels bad to be able to have that extra bit of bonus damage as well, especially the fact that you get the crits that come in from the Slark as well. So not only is he stealing your stats, but he's also dealing a boatload of damage to you as well. Ghost is feeling pretty strong on this high ground as well. He's got the Witchbane, so he's able to deal with any of these Ghost Scepters and any of these Drill Scepters that come up as well. That's the Hex that comes down, the hook hits on.
Kaka right back into Jackie, will find himself being dismembered up. Ghost already on it, trying to force this fight right now, but he forced the BKB coming out of the punch. Somnus lays out a Remnant, thinking about making the big jump. Ghost still has access to the Shadow Dance as well as an Aegis, so very, very far from being in a threatening position. And they successfully managed to bail out Kaka there. I'm very surprised by this one. I thought that surely FBZ, at the very least, might come in for an Anchor Smash or two. Maybe they throw in some Lightning, but after that last fight, and given that they have an Aegis on the side of RNG, they'd rather not overcommit for a lowly Tiny. If that was like Slark or something, maybe you try chance it, but just for Kaka, you are prepared to let it go. But that does mean that RNG are also prepared to take more farm on the map. The net worth lead has been shaved down to only 4k. At 40 minutes, 4 or 5k, literally nothing. Absolutely none. So Boom Esports, they're also about to lose a tier 2 tower in this mid lane. They can deny it now or have it die on the next incoming Eidolon wave, but either way, it is forfeit. And this game starting to feel a lot better for RNG. Will they get caught here though? Because it looks like Boom Esports have some awareness of this 2-hero avalanche into the Static Storm. FBZ though, he didn't get caught by the kinetic field. He's allowed to escape here. Somnus, no BKB at the ready. We see all of these heroes trying to escape. Glimpse back onto Yopaj. He's not allowed to go home. And they know now that he has no allies. Kaka finds him with the avalanche toss. Here comes Chalice, had the BKB active. They only want Yopaj. They only have eyes for the Leshrac, and they will find him. The Rainbow Pony is dead, and RNG have taken down 2. And now there is no net worth lead officially. Fluke, what's the number now? What does Dota Plus say?
Dota Plus is starting to lean pretty heavily towards RNG. This is starting to get... it's still 65% for Boom, so they are still ahead, but I think anybody with some eyeballs and a little bit of Dota sense are definitely feeling that this is starting to go towards RNG pretty heavily. Felt bad for Chalice in that last team fight. He BKB'd up to the high ground to try and black hole the Leshrac, and then X-Nova glimpsed him all the way to the other side of the map, so Chalice kind of walked around as this big gold man. But at this point right now, RNG, they're looking in a really, really good position. They've still got 20 seconds left on this Aegis as well, so they need to make sure they don't overstep their bounds. They don't have the Static Storm in their back pocket. They still have the Black Hole to be able to utilize here, but with Global Silence as well as Ravage ready, RNG, if they overstep just a little bit too far, they can definitely get caught out here. So they don't get the tier 3 tower, they're just going to fall back. They don't want to overplay their hand, and then RNG are just going to sit back and farm here. So, Boom. They're still in a good spot. I think the Pudge can do a lot of work to a lot of these backline kind of heroes, but I just don't know who's going to deal with the Slark at this point. Yopaj is built for a little bit more of this lockdown. He's got a lot of damage with the Kaya and Sanj, but Ghost is happy to just kind of play around these fights, man. Like, he's more than happy to just duck and dive, go back in. Now he's got the Lincoln Sphere, so he doesn't ever have to worry about being blink bitten or even just blink hexed as well. So Ghost is definitely in a good spot here to be able to ramp up. He doesn't have any like crazy amount of damage just yet, so I think that's one shining light here for Boom, is that Ghost hasn't got like a Skadi or an Abyssal Blade or like a Butterfly or a Moon Shard. He's gone purely defensive kind of items, and the only thing they really have to be worried about is this Silver Edge. So I catch him.
Jackie and the gang. Still not yet having conceded a lane of racks. They still have that advantage for themselves. They're actually going middle. They're going to try force a fight onto Jackie. Will they be able to take this? It's only a 6-second BKB. He does have a refresher if he wants to go for it though. In the meantime, they jump the silencer. Does have buyback, but now there's no logo. Static Storm catching FBZ as well as Jackie. They brought down Jackie. FBZ attempting to run. He's going to dodge the 1 pounce. Another one is coming soon. He's been stalled out with the Avalanche. They have so many spells to manipulate your movement. And there's going to be the pounce eventually. Ghost finds a double kill. More north towards the fight. We have Tims delaying the inevitable by going into the snowball. Kaka is there. Oh, Tims actually manages to blink away. Will he actually survive this? Doesn't have TP at the ready. His mech is already off cooldown. On cooldown, rather. They give the kill towards Kaka. They want Ghost to get the triple, but they don't really care about that. They more care about the perma-agi. And they found it. Ghost and the gang will be able to find another massive fight here. This is a big problem, Fluke, because that was without them having to commit anything but Static Storm. That's the only big spell expended. Black Hole is still at the ready somehow. And because they didn't have to commit all that hard, they can take this lane of racks and probably get out without having to suffer too many penalties from Boom.
Yeah, I think this is going to be a 2 racks combo deal here for RNG. They're going to walk in, see if they can find a Yopaj for the side. Come back around,
the toss back onto said Yopaj. BKB is there, but as soon as this duration is over, he knows that he can't actually get involved in the fight. I say that, but he jumps forward. Yopaj! Yopaj! Oh god, he died. FBZ brought back, hoping to connect with him at the same time with the Ravage, but not going to be able to do so. Instead, Yopaj dies without buyback. RNG, not feeling super confident though. They don't know themselves that this Leshrac lacks buyback. So, with FBZ alive, the threat of the Ravage being available, they will decide to retreat. And somebody has to go home. Remember that they got racks down bottom, so these super creeps actually took the tier 4 tower in this mid lane as well.
We're okay if we're RNG with that one though. You know, tier 4 towers, who needs them? We don't need them if we're inside the enemy base. It is a little bit of a win con though for Boom, so it is actually getting towards that point where it can start to be a little bit important. Yopaj got completely blown up. You know, I'm really starting to feel for Chalice's R button right now because I think he's pressed it a grand total of once this entire game. So if he gets given the refresher shard here, I'm actually just going to give it to myself. Refresher for his second and third uses of the black hole in the entirety of the game. And Chalice has been doing a good job at kind of playing the peripheries. I don't think he really has to black hole all too much. The one black hole that he has gotten off, I believe it got cancelled by the global silence. And it's like this game of chicken, right? We've seen this throughout the entirety of Enigma's stint in Dota 2. It's all about the chicken, right? Like you want to make sure that you're hitting a good black hole, but you've also got to make sure that the ability that is going to counteract your black hole has also already been used. So we're looking at a point now where Chalice is just sitting around in these team fights and going, I can't really get a good black hole off, but the threat of black hole is still always there and it's still always real. I like that they've given it to X-Nova, so the refresher shard.
Sudah banyak kalah golnya ya.
We've seen what X-Nova's been able to do with these
30-an gol.
I'd be pretty sad if we weren't seeing it in his hands.
Real talk, right? Double black hole would be cool. Black holes are nice, but X-Nova shows that you don't even need black holes when you have static storms in the way that he's been throwing them out. It's been like they lose this game 100% without his static storms with the Aghanim Scepter. So he has been a monster. He certainly deserves the refresher. And Chalice, like you mentioned,
kalah turun lower, kalah lagi lower pulang kampung.
RNG, their prime job now is just going to be to push out this bottom wave. Get back into a position where they can push on the high ground, equalize the lanes, make it as normal as possible. Let's talk about the side of Boom here, though, because things are looking quite rough. Sure, they're trying to build into this refresher for Scam, but for the core heroes, is there any item on the horizon that can actually change their fortunes right now?
I'm just trying to look to see what Jackie has. I'm feeling like he's starting to regret this refresher right now. It doesn't feel like it's really doing much for him. It's a whole lot of gold that he's invested into really not much. I can't really see anything else that would have been all too good for him. Maybe an overwhelming blink for them to try and end some of these games earlier on. Maybe even just an Eternal Shroud. Wouldn't have been too bad early on here for Jackie, but I think it's kind of gotten to the point now where Pudge and Leshrac are just kind of at that point where their heroes, I don't think any items are really going to save them all too much. Maybe we see something like a heart, or maybe even just like an E-Blade can come in from the Leshrac, or maybe in something along the lines of like an Aghanim Scepter with an Nihilism. Can do a lot of work, but you just see how hard it is for them to engage on this Slark, right? He's got an Aegis, he always has the Dark Pact at the ready, and they just get a free lane of racks, and at the back, you're always going to be worrying about X-Nova. You're always going to be worried about Chalice. These guys, if they hit their R buttons on 1 to 2 heroes, these team fights are over.
Yep.
So they're just going to try and
even
fish,
more difficult here. Ghost came through with a Bloodthorn, so all the BKB durations are very, very low. Both of them for Yopaj as well as Jackie. As a result, if your BKB finishes and you're Yopaj, you're going to get silenced and killed. It's going to be great. Ghost, though, it will be the combination. Split Earth into Hook. But as per usual, Ghost somehow managing to get off one of his defensive spells. This time around, though, he committed the full Shadow Dance instead of just popping the Dark Pact. So that will bounce back RNG for that long, overwhelmingly long duration of 20 seconds. Dude, this Shadow Dance spell, honestly, just needs a rework. Needs a long
they've got him.
They make the jump now onto Ghost. They have it jump, but the Static Storm is there from Max Nova. Yeah, nobody's gonna survive this one. Yopaj is gone. Jackie was able to get off the secondary BKB. Nobody's dead just yet on the side of RNG though. Kaka, they blink onto him on the left side. Chalice finally gets a black hole, but it's on mid-air because he gets snowballed into by Tims. But he refreshed. He can come in for another one. He bought the full orb. Global Silence has been thrown out. Ghost jumping onto Yopaj. Yopaj able to get back right now. Nice little hook onto Kaka, dragging him into the base. However, Somnus is going to come back to join him. There's the second black hole. The Wind Waker will try and save the Pudge, but not going to be able to do so for much longer. Somnus trying to make this jump back in. Somehow, Jackie is still alive. He will eventually be brought down though by XNDRA, who throws in the Thunder Strike onto his face. And that is one big Pudge dead and down to rights. Yopaj, how many options do you have, my friend? He's taking this damage from the slog. He's being controlled by Kaka. He pops the Bloodstone, though, to try and hopefully stay alive, and it enables him to at least kill the slog. But thanks to the Glyphs back, as soon as the BKB is over,
Give him the
they're
red
taken out, and they give Somnus the freaking... Wait, come on, do it!
No!
Oh, Ghost!
Oh my lord.
I'm done. Alright. You're working alone from now on, Fluke. I'm done. I was going to be hyping up RNG and say shout out to them for winning such a phenomenal game, for a great comeback. But Ghost, I know you helped carry that game, fam.
What the heck? Seminggu setelah kau pergi, teman silih berganti, di balik senyum palsu. Ini apa nih men? PSG LG menang 12k gol. Dialah yang menang lah. Seiu sa 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 ra dara daran daram. Siapa yang lab jam segini coy? Yang lab jam segini. Na 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 na. Overwatch. Wah. Bisa mabar tuh. Intip dulu grup stacknya bro. Sisa 4 lab ya. Kenapa? Oh yang satu udah kelar kah? Grup A, B, D, E. C nya udah kelar. Cepat juga. Grup D, grup A, oh grup A ini, grup B, tadi aku grup D apa grup B? Grup B kocak, lah sama kah grup D? Oh enggak.
If he didn't have that Wind Waker, Ghost was able to directly get on top of him.
Lah sama kocak. Udah habis
Spawn
semua.
in the first game. They
kan?
really didn't like how that one went, so we'll just take out, your first two heroes. So I suppose again, if you want.
Oke lah. Refresh ini udah diupdate belum? Gila, ini Sea. Oke, boom masih ada di. Gila tipis-tipis. EG bersinar hari ini bro. 6-0 menang tanpa kalah. 3 game ya, pukul rata ya. OG. OG kalah sama ini. OG kalah 2-0 sama EG kok. Ini yang masuk upper tuh 1 2 3 4. Nah, ini upper bracket, ini lower bracket. Nah, 2 ini pulang. Ini juga nih, di upper bracket, ini lower bracket, ini pulang. Cuman masih beberapa hari lagi ya seleksinya. Jadi 10 tim saling lawan satu-satu, gilir-giliran ya. Ceng dulu. Di balik senyum palsu. $0,5 murah. 46.000 murah. Terakhir yang 120 di mana? 69. Oh, di sini. Bulan Mei sempat paling mahal ya, 248.000. 1 MBX. Sekarang turun drastis 46.000. Apakah ada kemungkinan naik lagi? Berat. Turun terus. Ku dengar dirimu. PGL. Grup apa tadi? Grup B.
Rahasia rambut tampak hitam dan tebal. Gunakan Cousins Baby Hair Lotion setelah mandi. Kebaikan seledri dan kemiri dikenal dapat menutrisi akar rambut agar rambut sehat. Cousins Baby Hair Lotion, nutrisi rambut setiap hari.
Iklan.
When it came to buying them space in the early mid.
Yeah, it was really, really valuable.
Apa tuh? Ada Ahmad. Apa tuh? Ada Ahmad. Mantap, Todak. Disayangkan. Buset, 2 kali dong. Beda coy. Pokoknya grup stage dengan playoff tuh udah beda. Manusia itu belajar coy. Mereka pasti belajar sesuatu. Dari kekalahan tuh, orang kalau dari kesalahan atau dari kekalahan tuh paling banyak bisa belajar coy. Grip D. Udah main lagi belum nih ya? Aduh, masih replay boy. Ya udahlah, santuy dulu lah. 720p dulu lah. ...20 tim yang diambil cuman 16 tim. Ini upper bracket guys. Dua yang dari grup stage dari 4 upper bracket. Ini juga upper bracket. Nah, yang ini lower bracket. Yang ini lower bracket 4 tim. Ini pulang, nah angkut koper bawa ke airport ya. Ini juga pulang, tapi masih belum nih. Ini masih belum fix. Pokoknya ini harus saling berhadapan semua nih, gilir nih kayak Liga Champion. Musiknya kopi kanan kan enjoy. Seminggu setelah kau pergi. Aduh. Aku udah gak sabar yang pengen main OW2. Ayo game kedua. Aduh, Boom baru menang berapa hari ini? Boom menang sekali ya. Aduh, ngeri ya. Ini minimal Boom bisa masuk lower lah nih, lower bracket nggak apalah. Daripada harus pulang dari grup stage. Aduh, suram anjay. Tapi kalau prediksi aku sih yang pulang nih ini Sonic, Bad Boom nih juga pulang ini. Nah, yang dari sini nih berat nampak memprediksi yang di sini nih ya. Yang aku nggak terlalu kenal ini nih, Thunder. Dah. Buset, lebih neraka grup B sebenarnya nih. Grup ini Bad Boom kurang aku kenal, Sonic kurang aku kenal, Hokori, Gaimin. Tapi kok menang banyak deh nih. Ini kayak namakan underdog. Oke, udah mau mulai lagi kah? Oh, ceramah dulu ya.
Which, trust me, is saying something, because we've seen a lot of those happening on this inaugural day of group stage action. But now that they are in the pole position, now that they are leading the series, Fluke, I present to you the question of whether or not they can keep it that way, go 2-0, and unfortunately, because EG is there right now, they can't go to the top of the group, but nominally will have a very successful opening day of competition.
Yeah, I definitely feel like they can. They can prove to us in that last game that they have a very good grasp about how they want to play these fights, about how they want to move things around, and how they want to get things going in these games. So I definitely feel like that RNG can make this a 2-0. But you know, to be fair to Boom as well, I think the one kind of criticism I have is just being able to close the game out at the right.
Di balik senyum biji. Oh, di channel Boom nih, nobar nih. Nonton yang Boom aja kali ya. Boleh kan nonton yang ini?
Pasti aman itu anjing, udah 3 match menang.
Aman kan nih? Nggak tahu.
Udah pasti aman itu kayaknya.
Tapi pas main ada muka Rusman ya nggak?
Gila ya.
Oh, ada dong. Nama juga nobar ya. Ada. Bukan cuma aku ya yang nonton gelisah ya. Posisi kalah emang gelisah. Jidat ya kan. Kena comeback muka lu lemes men. Man, bukan men.
Oh, yo, bener ya satu-satu yuk, biar semangat nih beste.
Betul, nyari satu-satu. Yang nonton aku 1 orang, mantap. Nih, biar aku tambah nih, biar jadi 2 orang nih. Nih, biar aku tambah nih, biar jadi 2 orang nih. Nah, dah nobar ini aja ya. Dibalik. Makin kecil tuh layarnya tuh. Tuh makin kecil. Tuh makin kecil. Tuh makin kecil. Tuh makin kecil. Makin kecil. Makin kecil. Makin kecil. Jadi musik boy. 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 Bodoh nampak. Hiburan ya. Aduh, hiburan malam minggu gini amat dah. Kocak. Dem. Channel kalian lagi live nggak? Biar aku nonton channel kalian nih. Kalian nggak mau jadi streamer apa? Udah banyak yang kelar live streaming ya? Udah mau jalan lah ya. Jadi mereka live setelah jam 7 setelah Isya, sejam 2 jam dah itu jalan. Makan kayak calele ya kan. Banyak yang live ya. The Zoomers main Genshin apa ya? Nonton anonim kah? Nonton yang caster Indo aja kali ya? Boleh nggak dia nonton dia ya? Gak kena marah nih kan? Belum main masih. Gak apa.
Pipis gue banyak, pipis gue banyak banget.
Orang minumnya, orang minumnya ya. Takutnya kena.
Minumnya segini cuy anjir. Minumnya banyak banget gue. Ini habis, ini kosong, ini tinggal dikit.
Caster tuh.
Tadi ini gue isi lagi nih. Tadi barusan gue isi.
Banyak,
Tadi udah tinggal dikit lagi nih. Terus gue minum sinom.
Aku harus minum banyak juga kali ya. Biasa aku lab
minum mulu
3 kali itu udah sakit tenggorokan. Karena minum segelas doang ya sehari.
Let's go.
Nonton Ayap lagi main PB kah Pak Ayap?
Masih bisa menang sih. Semoga masih oke buat menangnya.
Kayaknya rehatnya ini dah. Rehatnya sekitar.
Kamu gak sedia galon?
Sekitar 10 menit sampai 15 menit. Game kedua. Mana Ayap lagi main? Nih. Anaknya kah dia yang lab nih? Anaknya biasa coy yang main coy, bukan Pak Ayap coy. Point blank. Aku kapan-kapan lah ya main point blank ya. Kalau udah kangen bedel. Ini Pak Ayap yang main. Mantap pisaunya. Pisau favorit aku di game ini bukan yang ini.
Ayo rek. Laku nang
favorit aku.
Ayo semangat ya malam minggu yuk. Malam minggu. Abang-abang ke bioskop nonton berduaan sama pacar bergandengan.
Dual Chris. Ini map DT ya, Downtown. Bukan. Oh ini Downtown. Kalau yang lainnya Midtown, Luxville, apalagi. Aduh lupa dah. Kalau aku lihat mungkin tahu aku. Oh diam aja Pak Ayap ya coy. Pak Ayapnya diam aja dia. Nonton Ayap. Lalu udah main kah? Nonton anonim aja lah ya. WXC Lab gak ya? WXC. Oh WXC Lab juga nih. WXC Indonesia.
Tapi
udah
kalau
traffic
di
nih.
PUBG Games.
Let's go. Lantai.
Buat dinikmatin, ditontonin emang lagi seru-serunya parah.
Iya.
Ini nonton channel Indo kena marah gak guys ya?
Pulang
Aku
kerja.
nggak tahu sih.
Niatnya mau
Main
fun
perlu
kan.
izin-izin dulu
main
nggak ya?
ranked itu udah.
Anjing udah lama nih kagak main Dota, fun kayaknya seru nih main Dota nih kan.
Capek kan pulang
Lu
kerja.
seru banget
Iya.
lu.
Iya.
Ada iklan. Oke, kita bayar nonton iklan aja lah ya. Nonton iklan. Berapa detik nih? 20 detik lebih. Oke, tonton iklan. Bayar pakai nonton iklan biar nggak kena marah ya. Takutnya nonton orang yang channel Indo kena marah. Oke, bayar pakai nonton iklan. Oke, walaupun dapatnya cuman berapa ratus rupiah ya. Berapa perak, oke lah. Support. Oke, dah. Bayar pakai nonton iklan, udah.
Dan Anda ingin dibuang sama Ranji?
Numpang. Nonton ini aja, sekali ini aja, Bang. Gak apa-apa lah, Bang. Dah, main.
Kalau gue sih Marcy, habis itu Morpling. Mungkin kalau dia mau ya.
Nonton
Habis Morpling baru
anonim, Bang anonim.
counternya dia.
Mantap.
Morpling. Kuat banget tuh sebenarnya. Lagi kuat banget sekarang. Marcy udah nggak terlalu ngeri sebelumnya sih.
Grafik
udah
boy.
Parah ya, cuman ya masih viable.
Grafik.
Marcy.
Boom, dapat
2 pick
Marcy
dari
menang
RNG.
nggak ya guys ya? Marcy
Udah kena
ini
Enigma, udah
OP
nggak ada
coy.
si Duvin at least jadi
Marcy
no
OP,
problem. Dia masih bisa
Primal
ambil yang
Beast OP, SF
kalau
OP.
Morplingnya diambil sama RNG, lu langsung ambil
Enigma juga
Kecuali
OP.
kalau RNG langsung ambil Morpling AA ya.
Itu aja
maksa
hero yang
banget
OP
sih.
di patch ini.
Itu maksa banget.
Wih, 1 juta donate yang mantap. Seseorang
What the
donate 1 juta.
What the fuck?
Yuk bisa boom kata, mantap.
What the fuck? Wah, gila orang ini.
Udah. Pincen udah
What the fuck? Thank
kucek.
you. Wait. What the fuck?
Pincen dia
yang bener cuy
upload
anjing.
short.
Sorry. Ya bisa ngopi di biar semangat.
Pincen.
Thank you seseorang.
Nyebut nama ente tuh Vincent
What the
apa
fuck?
Vincent kah? Vincent. Harusnya Vincent ya. Ala-ala bule gitu kan nyebut.
Anjir gila, enggak logis.
Vincent Su.
Duit kayak ini, duit
Panggilan
kayak
pendeknya
duit sejuta
aja.
kayak 1000
Vincent
cuy
apa
anjir.
Vincent?
Enggak ngerti gue.
Kalau Tom Cruise Lapren nih nggak tahu
Nggak
gue
paham
panggilannya apa di sekolah.
Nah, ini
dia.
buat RNG.
Biasa panggilan orang beda di sekolah beda, di gangnya dia beda biasanya.
Udah berkali-kali anjing.
Atau di desanya dia beda.
Ini first pick, second pick buat RNG. Thank you by the way. Dan
Oh,
ada leads
Vincent
buat
lagi live streaming
RNG
sekarang.
Jadi second pick nya.
Lagi live streaming kah sekarang? main ML kah? Apa main game ini lucu-lucuan
Ada
aja?
ya? 12 jam ya, 12 jam. Suara gue udah mau habis nih. Suara gue bener-bener mau habis. Gua
Vincent
agak
udah
nggak bisa
sering
teriak
ku
gitu.
mampir coy. Kalau dia upload ini.
Besok kuda yang nge-cash ya. Besok kuda yang nge-cash. Kuda senang tuh pasti sawar.
Mantap.
kalau
Ada
ini
kemajuannya hak ya.
Kalau besok ngasih nonton ya. Dan lu lihat caster yang mukanya agak aneh, giginya
Iya,
mancung.
panggilannya kocak.
Gua sawer.
Panggilannya
Dia beli
apa?
yang lain.
Orang manggil kamu di
Ini lu
gang
playoff
dengan di
official,
sekolah
yes, playoff,
apa?
yes. Playoff udah
Panggil
pasti.
Tom, panggil Cruz, apa panggil
Playoff udah pasti kan,
Lafren?
group stage-nya masih ini.
Lafren apa Lafren tuh? Nyebut
Ah,
itu. 3 kali kena comeback, kira-kira problemnya apa?
Sama timingnya Putgo itu beda. Dia kuat banget buat ngehandle Struck di saat Strucknya nggak punya BKB.
Iya, Boom hari ini kena comeback 3 kali guys.
Jeda di saat lu punya power.
Tadi pagi 2 kali kena comeback.
Nggak bisa ngehandle itu
belum menang tuh game itu.
Terutama buat Roshan, terutama buat objektif tower.
Ini barusan nih game pertama kena comeback nih. Tadi sore
begitu
aman.
dan begitu punya BKB lo harus
sore seri dia tuh 1.
Begitu punya BKB.
Oh iya, poin sekarang apa kabar guys? Aku lihat poin dulu ya.
Udah kepake BKB.
Poin di Dota ya. Kira-kira yang pulang siapa nih? Oh masih kayak tadi ya.
Reset, jangan langsung fight.
Ini grup stack coy.
Kelar,
yang di 1 sampai 4 ke upper bracket, 1 sampai 4 upper bracket, 5 sampai 8 lower bracket, 5 sampai 8 lower bracket, grup AB. Nah yang ini pulang.
Udah dapat konsepnya sih, cuman kayak
bawa koper ke airport.
Susah banget resetnya kalau di Disruptor.
Peringkat 9-10.
Problemnya di Disruptornya tadi.
Jadi begitu.
Lu gak bisa mancing BKB dan lu gak bisa disengis nanti kalau lawan Disruptor.
Kalau Dota 2
Disruptornya bukan Struck-nya ya, yang jadi masalah utama
adil kan. Nanti bracketnya keren dia. Bracketnya ya keren nih bracketnya coy. Orang nggak mau lower coy itu. Neraka coy lower coy. 1 kali main, 2 kali main, 3 kali main, 4 kali main, 5 kali main, 6 kali main, 7 kali main baru angkat piala. Kalau atas 1 kali main, 2 kali main, 3 kali main, 4 kali main angkat piala. Bayangkan coy. Per bracket tuh enak kali.
Lawan Disruptor yang punya gue mesti jadi PR.
Tapi kadang yang lower yang juara loh.
Bukan masalah Putgo nggak bisa game.
Sering
masih mancing BKB dulu. Kalau nggak bisa perang. Gimana cara perangnya lawan BKB anjir? Ada BKB, ada bad trader yang dibuang sama Boom Esportsnya, 1 band lagi dari
nama asliku Pincen, panggil itu aja bang. Iya maksudnya C-nya tuh ini Pincen apa Pincen gitu. Kalau di sekolah homie atau
semangat tapi tenggorokan lemah iya aja. Semangat tapi
tenggorokan lemah. Ada di sekolah itu sekolah gangster ya.
Pakai bahasa isyarat doang.
Yo homie. Yo money. Anjay udah kayak GTA San Andreas ya.
Kalau pakai bahasa isyarat gimana? Gak bisa cuy anjir.
Ayo pikannya apa nih Bub nih? Ada Marcy, ada Chen.
TB dibuang langsung.
Sedangkan di Royal Never Give Up. Nama timnya tuh dia ambil Tiny sama Leech.
Leech sama Tiny ya, Tiny support lagi.
Dia sudah banet apa tuh?
Kakak gigi banget permainannya. Dia punya Chen.
Ada Primal Beast.
Dan Struck emang lagi bagus.
Aduh hero yang sering dipakai kuku kok jadi lupa aku.
Dia gak mau ambil Morphling soalnya.
Oke, carry udah di banet juga.
Gue pikir dia mau ambil
di atas Morphling, Bad Rider udah di banet, Brute Mother udah di banet.
Dia pernah nyoba sih. Dia pernah nyoba di Morphling di awal.
SF udah di banet.
Abis itu Morphling dia ban Ancient
Terror
Apparition-nya
Blade ya?
Jelek. Sempet gak nge-ban AA bahkan. Gue bingung aja sempet gak nge-ban Ancient Apparition.
Ini kok jadi lupa Andying, kocak Andying di banet. Ini namanya aduh aku tuh udah berapa tahun gak main Dota ya. Main lupa udah mah.
Dan
Lina di banet.
NG-nya dia mau nunjukin cara pakai Lesrak ya.
Lesrak di pick.
Apa ya?
Aduh sayang sekali coy. Oren
tuh yang mancing-mancing yang range tuh main bagus buat Lesrak. Jadi Lesrak tuh kalau dikasih jarak gak enak.
Salah fokusnya dia.
Iya 12 jam yang lalu ya.
Tapi Oren tuh tim lama loh. Kalau nggak salah di Dota di TI berapa ya? TI 1, TI 2 apa TI 3?
Assassin juga diamankan buat jawab
ada namanya tim Orang ESPORTS.
Lumayan aja nge-spam mana burn. Spec rapnya
jadi dia komunitas lama coy Oren coy.
Lagi farming jadi kan lu Vendetta nih.
Dia nampaknya di PC pertamanya Dota.
Lesrak lu pingin punya hero yang bisa
sekarang terjun ke ML
lu gak pengen pakai melee yang demetan sama Lesrak. Kalau bisa yang range.
Tapi sebelum aku tahu di Oren di ML di PUBG Mobile dulu. Setelah di Dota lalu aku tahunya dia di PUBG Mobile, sekarang dia di ML ya.
Bagus
tim gede udah banyak di PC sih.
Masalahnya match up lawan carry-nya apa nih?
Tim Malaysia tuh tim-tim besar, tim-tim lama tuh apa-apa ya? Todak tuh nggak tahu aku. Todak tuh tahu dari ML aja Todak ya. Bukan dari game-game lama maksudnya. Lone Druid. Ada Nyx Assassin. Aduh, menang kan nih. Oh, ini kayak ini ya, tim secret ya.
Match-up-nya apa? Kalau Road jelek banget ayam. Lu nggak bisa nge-counter mid-nya doang, tapi match up carry versus carry itu lumayan penting. Lumayan penting aja.
Hard carry last pick. Jungler itu last pick. Jungler itu wajib last pick biar no counter. Jungler itu last pick. Hard carry last pick.
Nah, gila. Air gua udah mau habis lagi, gila. Banyak banget airnya. Dan band ke-6 dari
pick Pani last pick no counter. Easy win.
Satu band tambahan lagi dari Bumi Sports.
Cuman draft pick Mobile Legends tuh terkadang tolol ya. Dia pick MM di awal sama jungler di awal. Itu tolol ya.
Offlane gitu ya. Tiny support, lead support sama kayak tadi Tiny.
Kena
Tiny
counter
ya.
lah udah bro. Tapi nggak banyak hero counter kalau di ML coy. Kalau di Dota nih ya itu pantang coy. Hard carry harus last pick coy.
Tinggal hero Jeki kan.
Kalau pick awal mati lah, nyari bundir lah. Karena counternya banyak bro.
Jangan sampai Ember carry enggak sih.
Sayangnya Mobile Legends masih
Ember carry enggak ya?
Kurang ya dari segi draft itu masih kurang.
Hero belakang bagus. Sniper bagus buat lawan Estrak.
Hero counter itu masih dikit banget coy.
Lawan Estrak makanya.
Jadi orang tuh masih rebutan hero jungler atau MM tuh di awal gitu.
Hero melee, semakin banyak hero bayangan di sekitarnya dia semakin bagus.
Rebutan hero OP jungler MM di awal.
Lifesteal-nya kecil jadinya.
Kenapa orang berani rebutan? Karena counternya dikit deh. Apalagi kalau udah dibanet ya.
Dan visanya dibuang sama Bumi Sportnya. Visage band terakhir ya. CK lemah banget sama Slug. Slug bagus. Slug cuy. Tapi gak enak lawan Nondred. Menurut gue gak enak lawan Nondrednya.
Siap Pincen, thank you udah mampir Pincen. Mang lagi live nih sekarang nih. Tadi nyuruh mampir. Orangnya mungkin komen di sini.
Oke, buat lawan Nondred juga. Absen aku bang. Siap, Danu. Siap, absen. Danu absen anjir.
Absen aku bang.
Dan live streamer di band. Oke, padahal bagus ya live streamer. Gue lagi bayangin live streamer kayaknya bagus.
Ya mod magang aku hapus dulu ya di channel
ada
ini. Karena nggak enak ya mandang obeng semua ya. Biarkan obengnya dikit aja ya.
Lawan Nondred masalahnya. Lawan Nondred sih. Hero yang punya spell immune kalau bisa, tapi susah. Atau yang BKB-nya early. Kalau BKB-nya early atau mungkin yang main belakang atau mungkin anti-mage, tapi anti-mage kurang buat lawan Nondred ya. Oh, sniper hidup belakang buat lawan Esok. Konsepnya oke. Esok tuh emang lu gak mau dempetin. Lu gak pengen punya hero-hero yang dempetin Esok ya. Lina draw di band kan makanya.
Ayo.
Lina draw TB.
Apa nih?
TB padahal hero bayangan sih. Cuman TB itu juga jarak.
Ayo,
tebak hero apa lah dan sniper salah satu solusi sebenarnya. Salah satu solusi buat lawan Nondrednya juga.
Yang sering dipakai.
Absen ya absen.
Ada
Yuzi, ada Offlin, ada Leci.
Roger.
Leci itu manis ya jelas lah anjing.
Kalau kamu nggak tahu Laikan, berarti ini anggap aja Roger ya.
Ada Ridwan Gaming, ada Adrian. Ada Ilham,
tahu,
ada Edo Aice,
konsol
ada Randi
tahu.
Andika, Prima Cipta, Yusuf, ada Bilal, ada Simon Dean,
punya kah?
Ada Alis Tipis, ada Tio, ada Junior. Lagi gini rasanya absen cuy, seru juga.
Tapi orang lebih kenal PS.
Seru cuy absen, ada Maestro,
PS ada di rental.
Ada Skuti, ada Gabriel, ada Kusnul. Apa tadi?
Aduh lama.
Buat healthy drink, oh siap, Yuria Busra, thank you Yuria Busra.
Nonton yang bule aja kah?
Oke adik-adik, gue udah absen. Thank you Yuria Busra, healthy drinknya gila mantap 100.000 ya. Kalau dari draft nang mana? Kalau dari draft sebentar ya.
Gak usah lah, nonton yang ini aja lah. Nanti disembunyikan juga sih lab ya.
Menang RNG sih.
Soalnya biar lebih paham ya kalau bahasa Indo ya.
Sebentar. Tapi nggak tahu ya kan masih bisa di counter pakai Ember nanti. Sebentar, absen di live chatnya udah cuy. Absen di
Nonton
live chatnya
yang
udah.
lain
Sekarang
bahasa Inggris.
Sekarang ganti absen
Bahasa
cuy.
Indo.
Sekarang ganti absen ya. Kita bakal ganti absen lewat Sawaria. Ayo let's go. Bercanda sorry. So ya. Ada seseorang, ada Yuria Busra. Oke. Langsung bingung, langsung nggak jadi aku bang. Oke, overlay. Miskin bang. Oke. Aduh, bentar. So chance buat Travision Joponya nggak kelihatan dan bagus banget karena ada ward sebenarnya dari lawannya di situ. Jadi dia nggak ketahuan pak pemakaian visionnya, peletakan visionnya. Udah 12 jam solo makanya. Mau 13 jam sih. Aku bang absen, thank you Adit. Wah Adit absen. Wah gila ada yang absen. Adit nih. Ada Adit, ada
bisa 3 bahasa, mantap.
Tadi juga absen seseorang gitu kan. Ada Anon.
Bisa.
Yo bisa satu poin. Siap Jundul. Mantap semoga bisa. Semoga bisa.
Oh,
harapan
bukan 1080p nih. Yo 1080p.
Snipernya susah banget dilompatin di belakangnya. Cuman laikannya Usain. Dan tempo awal buat nge-pushnya gila. Lu punya 3 core, 3 power buat nge-pushnya gede.
Kalau di Twitch ada boom
bayangin
nggak?
Lycan, lu
cobain tip Twitch ya.
nge-push barengan cuy. Jadi kemampuan nge-punishnya gede. Dan FBC pakai Marcy. Paling gak ini baru buat FBC, Marcy offlane. Kuat buat lawan non-duitnya, lumayan bagus buat nge-shutdown satu pemain. Bisa incer stack-nya juga nanti.
You know.
Aduh lama loadingnya boy.
Aku bang sebut nama aku. Oke siap, oncom GG. Oncom GG. Wah mantap pancingannya. Buat wedang nih, oh thank.
Nge-lag woi.
Udah busa, thank you perhatian banget yang ini. Wah gila, yang ini tepat sasaran gila. Tepat sasaran. Gue lagi butuh wedang. Thank you banget Udah busa.
Oh Sonic PSG LGD.
Lagi sakit cuy tenggorokan gue.
Ini aja lah.
Dari dulu Starbucks mulu soalnya dia.
Nonton yang ini aja boy. Wih udah jam 9 aja hari ini. Berarti aku main jam 10 nih coy.
Kuda lagi
main
nyatet
Overwatch
nih.
2 jam 10 berarti.
Disawer gitu. Kuda lagi nyatet kayaknya.
Kelar mungkin jam 12 atau sampai jam 1 atau sampai jam 2.
Masih di bagian tengah aja.
Belum
Dia
tahu
bakal
lah.
ketemu sama Lestraknya Somnus ya.
Ahmadnya mana? Final kapan Malaysia? Malaysia
Liverpool
final
atau City kapan
kapan?
mainnya cuy?
Lupa aku nanya deh tadi.
Kapan
Udah
mainnya
pergi
Liverpool
kali
City?
deh. Kayaknya
Jeki
tuana
dengan
dia habis
sniper
ngechat
di
pergi,
sisi
habis
bottom
ngechat
lane.
pergi.
Dan ada stun. Kakak dipukulin aja dipaksa buat lari ke belakang kakaknya.
Layar udah aman kah boy?
Oh,
aman
besok
lah, boy,
ya?
Oke mantap boy.
Alright.
Atau cek yang WXC boy.
Oh absen deh.
Kalau cek yang WXC.
Mungkin gara-gara bisa ngedive-nya itu ya. Oh.
Iya, ngedive-nya
Oh sama
bikin
juga coy,
laundry
agak
out of
buram dikit
position
lah.
gitu kan.
I see.
Laundry itu juga agak segan gitu sama posisinya.
Aku
Iya,
nyari
iya.
yang
Makanya
lumayan
dia warnanya
jernih
pun
gitu
di
bah.
lens
Soalnya
kanan
nampil
sih.
di layar aku
Jaga-jaga
takutnya
buat laundry-nya.
parah.
Iya sih benar.
Masih farming. Dota tuh
Done
awal-awal
just yet
kalau
here,
nontonnya
Fluke,
masih
because look
ngantuk.
where
Ya.
Kaka is. He's sitting in behind the tier 1 tower. They're just waiting for the creep wave to get close enough to tank this up. And FBZ has gone in with the side
Boleh lah bahasa Inggris aja boy, nggak apa-apa.
sidekick, but with no unleash, he is 100% dead here. Leshrak showed up for this one as well, and you were saying that they should group up like 10-12 minutes. Somnus says that's gonna take too long, buddy. I'm coming top at 7. We're gonna get
Yes,
this kill.
1, 2, 3.
Yeah, I mean, getting the first power rune, they walk their way towards the top side of the map. Somnus is pretty scary at that level 6. Ghost getting himself a very kind of opportune route there onto FPC means they're able to get the kill on the offlaner and tower. So from here on out and just looking towards Boom and seeing what their ideas are going to be.
7 menit di sini. Oh, enggak apa-apa. Enggak apa, biar cepat kelar game ya. Yang di channel Indo tuh baru ini, baru menit 1, menit 2. Telat 4 menit lah ya. Oke, enggak apa nonton yang bule. Biar cepat kelar ya. Nah, awal-awal lu menit 1 sampai 10, 15 tuh masih farming manja aja deh.
So he wasn't able to get off the toss. He couldn't get that close.
Farming manja, geng tipis-tipis.
Be able to stay alive middle your Paj. The most important thing is that he keeps his tower very, very alive.
Apakah aku boleh nonton sambil baring?
If they lost the tower bottom, I think they don't feel nearly as good about the move they made to the top lane. But Chalice being able to come back just in time to protect it means that things aren't so bad. Somnus though, things might start to look a little bit poor for him here. Kaka was going for the young Avalanche to prevent your Paj grabbing the Invis rune. Will fail to do so. And as a result, Somnus realizes he's out of resources, just has to be bounced all the way back home. Yopaj can still play around though. Do you think he's going to utilize this to try and make something happen on the map? He is level 7 at the moment, and he's also ferrying in the full orb of corrosion. Is this an opportunity for him to try and maybe force a play on the map somewhere?
Yeah, it definitely feels like it. You can see that he's pushing out this middle lane as well. Usually when you see the mid laner make the rotation out, you want to try and push the lane in and try and make a rotation somewhere else. You can see now he has this orb of corrosion. He's going to pop out the invis rune, but Yopaj is going to get caught out here by X Nova. At least know that he's alive. So yep, this invis rune really not going to do all too much.
X Nova has level 1 Sinister Gaze. He didn't necessarily say to Somnus, I'm gazing him right now. So they weren't able to combo together for the split earth. Otherwise, that could have been a kill. They smoke up right now. They know for a fact that there's no vision here because they already have their own wards down. It's a great place to try and mount a smoke. Somnus, his smoke will break, so they know somebody is nearby. It's Tims, but Tims, at the very least, will reveal that this is happening. Buy space and time so that Jackie can escape. If Jackie dies here inside the jungle at this stage of the game, it looks so poor for them, but he does not. He has to keep farming. And Tims gave up his life for the vision cause. A noble one for a support.
Yeah, exactly what Tims needs to do, and you can see that he understood his kind of role, right? Like they got pushed out of bottom from Chalice. He has this level 6 here on the Lycanthrope. That if ever he hits that shapeshift, then that's when the sniper is just going to go down. So they're just going to leave that tower to Chalice. Yes, you get the tier 1 tower. We're just going to let Jackie farm this jungle camps, and Tims understands that they're going to make a rotation towards him at some point. If I can stand here, if I can break a smoke, if I can take a gank, I'm going to feel pretty good with how this game is going. So they're going to put their attention towards the top side of the map and see if they can try and put extra pressure back here onto Ghost. You can see Yopaj is kind of hovering around. He knows that there's like a place that he kind of wants to be, but he can't really get away from this tier 1 tower because if they lose this mid tier 1, that is all their tier 1s gone here at 10 minutes into the game.
Unfortunately, it might not be up to him here, Fluke, as they're jumping him. Avalanche does actually connect. The full combo is out. Yopaj dodges the split earth like an absolute G, so he won't end up dying here in this mid lane. However, towers do not have access to Sleight of Fist, so cannot dodge the damage coming in from RNG, and they have indeed lost all of their tier 1s pre-11 minutes here. Boom Esports, at the very least, claimed back the tier 1 tower top and are well on track to getting FBZ, the BKB at the ready, but for the most part, this map feels very comfortable for the side of RNG. Chalice is playing inside their jungle, getting very close towards having the full Vlads, and then he'll have an even bigger and stronger army.
Yeah, they're really starting to hit their timings here as well. So Yopaj is seeing if he can try and reclaim some of this area of the map, but after losing all your tier 1 towers, like once you've lost all your tier 1 towers, you feel so vulnerable on the map, right? Like it is so far away for you to try and kill these creep camps from any of these towers, from any of this safe haven that you've got, and that's why you can see a lot of this vision that's being put up here by Boom Esports is trying to reclaim some of this space and seeing if they can reclaim some of this jungle so they can at least have some of these safer places to farm, because it's 11 minutes into the game and you don't really have a good place for you to farm. Like FBZ can't be pushing out these waves because he doesn't want to go in towards Ghost. They can't really farm the triangle all too much because it's only 11 minutes in. Nobody can really take Ancients reliably. And a lot of this mid lane farm is kind of going to Yopaj because he needs to be somewhere as well. And it just feels like this map is getting oh so small for them. This is to be a big kill on Somnus though.
It is indeed a very big kill onto Somnus. They jump him. FBZ happy to throw out the unleash immediately. Tims will die behind the tower. Shout out to X Nova. He knew he was dead, but he still throws out the high five before he goes down. What a lad. Still, that's 2 quick kills. Other side though, they're not done just yet. Scam did scout out both Ghost and Kaka, but I don't think Ghost and Kaka actually want to fight this. Their heroes being dead, they would much rather just go back and keep farming. And this mid tower will get pushed in by the side of Boom Esports. At the same time though, Chalice is at the ready, looking to put pressure on the tier 2 tower as well. Tier 1 mid still hasn't fallen. It takes them so much longer to make this push than what it takes RNG. And in that duration, look how low the tier 2 tower bottom fell here, Fluke. That's just Chalice, nobody else. Just Chalice with the Helm of the Dominator, and the tier 2 tower almost died in this bottom lane.
To be fair, I think he had like 3 rounds of the Raze dead as well. I saw that the buff was on Chalice himself, that he was getting like a plus extra like 25 damage or like 30 damage or something like that. So his Lycan Wolves with that plus bonus damage just means that they're able to do so much work here. They're trying to make it go here on Ghost, but they don't have the Unleash. Dispose is in a good spot.
But he's dead anyway. Shout out Jackie for showing up at the right time. Okay. That's going to cost the tier 2 down bottom though. There's no way, because RNG are already smoked up, ready to look at contesting this. They dust up onto this next assassin, and they'll be able to find the kill. Yopaj, does he have a defensive remnant? He does. It's fairly close by though. He could re-engage if desired. Nonetheless though, RNG, the thing they desired most in this world of the tier 2 tower, they will be able to find. And the thing is, yes, it sucks to lose Ghost. It's very, very painful, but at this stage of the game, Ghost is not actually worth that much. He's worth a lot in terms of potential. So he's not yet at a point where losing him actually affects the game states. I think RNG are okay with this.
Yeah, they're definitely okay with it because they haven't hit that that go button just yet for Ghost, right? They haven't been able to be like, hey, let's get this 5-man ball going. Let's see what we can do. But FBZ is doing a beautiful job so far.
Chain Frost though bouncing in right onto him. Chalice looking for revenge. These creeps tanking up so much of the Chain Frost. He's not dead just yet, but the army will be able to finish him off. And Chalice now not only a tower killer, but a hero killer as well, as he picks up his first fatality in this game. 1-0-1. It's a huge deal because this Marcy, FBZ, was not that far away from having access to the BKB, Fluke. And you saw in previous games how much more different the performances are from a Marcy when she has access to the early BKB versus when she doesn't. And she almost had it like now. Now she has to wait a little bit longer.
It's always a little bit unfortunate when you get close to that first kind of item spike and not really able to get it done. So FBZ getting close towards that that BKB is always nice. Ghost though is starting to hit his trajectory as well, getting close towards that Desolator. I imagine that's going to be the timing mark for them. Oh, how did they find Tims? X Nova being able to get the second sense. They did have a sentry there, so they saw him as he walked up the ramp. Having that pre-play sentry just means that X Nova was able to find out Tims. They get the dust and they get the kill there onto the Nyx Assassin. So they're in a good spot right now. RNG, they've almost got a lot of their items up online. They've got Helmet Overlord now on Chalice. Karkar's getting ever so close towards his Blink Dagger. I believe it's on the career right now to him. Yeah, so he has his Blink Dagger on the Tiny. X Nova, he just wants to try and build towards that shard as early as possible, and Ghost almost on the Desolator. So RNG definitely in a good spot right now, especially once they hit this Bloodstone onto Somnus. Whereas on the other side of things here for Boom, they've got the Dragonlance, they've got the Maelstrom up on the Sniper. Maelstrom almost completed here onto Yopaj, and FBZ once it gets to the BKB, they're able to hit some of these timings. But still just waiting a few minutes for both these two teams here, Snare. So I'd imagine this might slow down a little bit, and then it's just going to be all-out tower push. They're going to be trying to get Roche as quickly as they possibly can for RNG. And it's all about Boom, how they respond to the pressure that's going to be happening on their side of the map.
Ooh, look at this. These are some interesting item timings for the side of RNG. They've just finished the first part of the Desolator. Well, they actually have the Desolator on Lone Druid. They had the Lone Druid Desolator. They have Bloodstone on the Somnus Leshrac. They have the full Helm of the Overlord. And they just have their Blink Dagger for Kaka, like you were mentioning. So I think they go now. Like, either they try force a Roche, or we force a fight. Let's go. RNG. What's happening? Boom Esports, though. Look at Yopaj. Understanding his assignment. He gets the jump from Kaka onto Tims, though. Very quick kill. He does that buyback. He might be incentivized to use it. We shall see. Somnus already committed the Bloodstone on that one. But Yopaj was trying to scout inside the Roshan pit. He understood that this is exactly around the time when a draw such as theirs would be trying to make this exact move. And he's not wrong. Unfortunately, he might just lack the capability to stop it with his squad. They are coming in, streaming into this side of things. FBZ has access to the BKB, but it's too late. They have lost access to the Roshan pit. They've lost the Rosh, they've lost the Aegis. So now this Leshrac. You know, I wish I was naive enough to be like, oh, it's going to be a farming Aegis. Nope. They're going to keep going with this one.
Yeah, I definitely feel like they've just hit this kind of scary timing, right? As you said, Desolator being built up, they've got the helmet, the Overlord, they've got everything they need for the Leshrac with the Bloodstone, and now with the Aegis of the Immortal. Like, it's really going to be limited days for the remainder of these towers. But picking up Chalice here could be big for Boom.
See if they can get him. Chalice does get picked up by Scam, as the rest of Boom Esports are able to clean him up. Okay, that is a substantial kill for them to be able to find there on this Lycan. It is a bit unfortunate that Scam is the one that gets the gold for that one, but you know, what can you do? As long as he's dead, that's the important thing right now. Regrettably, they won't be able to leverage this into something larger, but it is going to be time wasted off of this Aegis. But they're not done just yet here, Fluke. Look at this. They're jumping into the dire jungle. See Yopaj. He could get gazed here. He needs to be careful. Avalanche will be there. Where's the Sinister Gaze? They don't even need it. They just finish him off with raw damage. Kaka on a killing spree all of a sudden. And that's how you get revenge for your dead Lycan. You bring down their Ember Spirit. Okay. We'll never give up. Just feeling very oppressive wherever they are on the map.
Yeah, it really feels like that RNG right now are just dotting their I's and crossing their T's, right? It just seems like a very straightforward game plan that they've got here. They can get their ball up going. They understand that they can burst any of these heroes down. They've got Kaka with the Blink Dagger.
Oh, the swords.
Scam.
The swords. Scam. They might be able to bring down the Tiny, though. So some revenge immediately got them for them as well. Somnus is in danger. Somnus needs some assistance right now. X-Nova, can you get him out of this? Seems like they are dissuaded by seeing the shapeshift of the Lycan. They still know they're dealing with an Aegis, and they do not know whether the Tiny has buyback or not. Ultimately, though, they do make sure that the last vestiges of that ward are wasted. And it's not going to be RNG getting a quick kill into another quick tier 2 tower. But Boom Esports not satisfied with this status quo. They might find Ghost. He's got the bear in front of him to try and block things off. And they know where he's at. But there is a tier 1 tower here, Fluke. So they can come in very, very fast on the side of RNG. Looks like Ghost read the play. Goes into the true form. This is going to be buying space and time. They know what's happening. Where's the counterplay here? The damage from this bear will be good enough to kill Tims. And now, Kaka, the blink onto FBZ, forcing him to go into the BKB TP out. Where are the roots? Not available. Ghost wasn't pressing his root button. And that'll allow FBZ to escape. Down bottom, Yopaj inside the trees here. But they don't have a clear beat onto him, so they can't make the jump. Nonetheless, Boom, they smoked out, but RNG was ready.
I was trying to figure out there how they had the idea. Oh, with the fear and the roots. Yopaj is dead. Okay.
Yopaj?
All right.
But I thought he left. I thought he was going to leave.
I think he was just trying to play one of these next creep waves, just feeling like that they didn't have enough damage to take him down, but they definitely did. Yeah, I was trying to figure out, like, in that last team fight, how they had that second Spidey sense. I believe that they just got a glimpse on the outpost as they walked past. So it was just a little bit of extra bit of vision that went forward there for RNG, and they were able to figure that one out. And Yopaj getting caught lacking in that bottom side of the map means that now Q2 Tower is on the menu. They've still got a minute left in this Aegis as well. Feels like this Aegis was almost 10 minutes ago. But RNG, they're just slowly compressing this map, right? Like it's slowly getting to this point where Boom just don't really have much of a way for them to get out onto the map. You saw how hard it was for Yopaj to try and deal with any of these heroes. They get on top of him. Jackie's getting to the point where he's starting to become a very, very scary hero. But I think as long as RNG play this game slow and don't overstep their bounds when they go towards high ground and just give Jackie like a triple kill as they go high ground, then they should be okay with how this game is going, because they're just going to be able to slowly crush the rest of the map get a whole lot more of this gold. Jackie's going to be the only one that's going to be an issue for them. They kill Yopaj in these fights, kill Tims in these fights. FBZ is not going to be able to be that scary, and then eventually they'll be able to collapse there onto the sniper. So clear path ahead for RNG, I would say, but definitely inroads for Boom.
Well, it's RNG's turn today to be enjoying a north of 90% win rate, or win probability rather, against the side of Boom. Currently sitting, or it was sitting a moment ago at 92%, just before they reclaimed their outpost. Of course, we've seen just how slippery such numbers can actually be when it comes to reality. But for RNG though, the interesting thing about their draft is they also are aware that they are on not a massive timer, but a bit of a timer, right? You do not want to be playing this draft in perpetuity. They want to be wrapping this game up in the next 10 minutes at the very latest. Ideally, much sooner than that. Now they're going to smoke up to try and achieve these ends. Who is available on the map? There's Tims doing his role as the next assassin, breaking smokes, standing in front of the sniper. They know where the sniper is at, but I'm not sure they'll be able to get the quick jump and the kill at the same time.
Oh, the
They've also
smoke
just
broke.
picked up a blink dagger on Meshrak. Yep. Shout out Tims! Doing the next job. What a guy.
Yeah, it was just the awkward area for them to break that smoke as well, just in front of the creep wave, where they got revealed, and now that Boom had the high ground as well, that was going to be a bit of a rough smoke for RNG to try and push into. And they didn't really have their heroes either. Somnus was over near towards the outpost, so the Leshrak really wasn't even in the best kind of area for them to have one of those engages going forward. And yeah, we see that Boom is just slowing this game down. They understand that as long as this game isn't over, as long as they haven't lost their tier 3 towers, they're going to be A-OK. They found out XNDRA though, he's dead. Yep, that is a very dead Lich. Smoke for a Lich.
To come in.
Probably not the worst. Probably not too
That's
too
X-Nova's
sad right
job,
now, RNG. Yeah.
He's like, well, if I have to die, at least there's not anybody else on the squad. They do have to vacate the triangle now, though, because they'll know that Boom Esports are probably not satisfied with just getting the one Lich kill, and they'll try and search quite desperately for more and more and more. Incredibly for them, they aren't able to find anything, but they are able to start the deep push job down bottom. It's very important playing against these kind of drafts here to ensure that your lanes are never being pushed in, for fear of what could happen if something goes wrong in a fight and suddenly they just show up, and that pushed in wave turns into a pushed in lane of racks. So they're doing the right thing, and they're doing it on all three sides of the map, right? We see him, they're doing it middle. Now Jackie TPs to try and accomplish the same situation in the top lane. Yopaj already has a remnant from down bottom, and they're giving away some space for experience through mid, so that FBZ is not just left behind in the dust as this game scales.
Yeah, and I think that's a good thing here from Boom is they understand that they can start to scale pretty well. We've seen what late game Ember Spirits are able to do once he gets towards, you know, that Aghanim Scepter, as long as and things like the Octarine Core. Whereas RNG is starting to slow down a little bit here. They're not, you know, the worst when it comes to scaling, but definitely as a Lycan, you really want to try and have this game finished up relatively fast. They're getting close towards the AC, so that's going to be their next power spike here. They did just pick up a freshly finished BKB as well on Somnus, so RNG, they're starting to get to a point where they're maybe potentially going to be able to crack high ground, but they still haven't been able to deal with Jackie just yet. And I haven't really seen them build items to deal with Jackie. Like, yeah, Chalice is going to be able to hit the shapeshift and walk in towards the background, but all it takes is Boom to have a little bit of peel and catch Chalice out. That it's going to be very, very hard for him to just kind of run on top of Jackie, who now has the concussive grenade as well. So he has that little bit of disengage, and once he gets towards something like a Hurricane Pike, it's going to be hard for him to do as well. So, Boom, they're starting to feel like this game is petering towards a little bit of normalcy as well. We can see that, like, the net worth is starting to even out a little bit. They're starting to pull back the experience by being able to clear out a few more of these waves, and RNG just haven't been able to hit that stamp yet. And I think that's probably my biggest takeaway from today here, Snare, is some teams are really struggling to be able to close out the game. So maybe we might see a more tendency on day number 2 of these group stages to have these heroes that are much more kind of late game centric, where it's a lot easier. You know, a lot of players have been able to end the game at, you know, like 40 minutes when you have 1 or 2 items extra, but trying to end the game before 25, 30 minutes, it's pretty hard, because you have to do it pretty consistently and pretty concisely to be able to be, you know, kind of experts at finishing those games nice and early.
getting these quick solutions or these quick results, not easy like you mentioned. I suppose it's also a situation where the changes to how the map operates, right, with the glyph in particular, just sort of frustrates your attempts to end the game faster. Because it pretty much every step of the way, IceFrog is trying to say, hey, play longer, play more Dota.
Hey.
So, it's not easy. It might get a little bit easier now. You mentioned the AC that was going to come earlier. But here's a potential response for the sniper. They had just got the blink on Somnus, but they're also about to pick up a nullifier on Chalice. We'll talk about it in a second. Like we see X-Nova getting jumped on right now, taking some damage.
Oh, the fear.
But here comes the fear onto Yopaj. Not enough to kill him off though, as he is able to get off the BKB at the very last second. They ran out of disables. They committed all of them. X-Nova couldn't close the gap for the Sinister Gaze. That was so close. Yopaj almost lost his life, but RNG also don't end up losing anybody. They stand firm, they stand strong, and they stand to be able to get some vision control back again here because they need to. In the advent of Roshan respawning, they certainly want to go back into the pit and use this Aegis to try and end the game.
Yeah, it's one of those scariest scenarios right now where Roshan is becoming the focal point for both these teams, and RNG, we see how scared they are trying to commit on towards this sniper because they know that if they start walking towards these shrapnel charges, they're going to get slowed down, and then all it takes is Boom to be able to come in, get a Sleight of Fist, Syrian Chains. They've got the Next Assassin with the Impale, and then FBZ. If he gets a good initiation with his BKB and his Basher, it's going to be hard to deal with. So this game is starting to, I feel like, slip away here for RNG. This last pick of the sniper is kind of what's coming to fruition here when I saw it from the draft. I felt like that as long as this game isn't over in like 25, 30 minutes, that we're going to be relatively happy with how this goes. We've seen what Masters has been able to do on the front lines these days. We've seen what Yopaj has been able to do on this Ember Spirit as well. And touched on it just before, it's so hard to concisely and quickly finish these games of Dota right now.
Fluke, have we had a straightforward win before?
Not
or have all of our games
today.
been like weird stuff? You know, major comebacks, long drawn out affairs. I don't think we've actually, maybe one of the series in the last chance qualifiers, like that Vici wildcard game maybe. But we'll talk about it in a second as middle. Here's the answer for Jackie. Unfortunately, he gets off the BKB. Look how much damage he did just on an immediate turnaround. He's trying to TP out. They don't have a basher to stop him. So he's allowed to escape. RNG.
Okay.
They're feeling the same pressure that you're alluding to right now. They recognize that allowing this game to stretch longer and longer is not in their best interest. However, they did go into shapeshift for that. And that means that Boom knows that if they can find and exploit a small timing just as shapeshift ends,
look
the
how
Lycan will not
fast
be that strong.
is.
But the Roshan is just being eaten alive. But look at the job, Tims! Finds two heroes with the Impale. Both supports are gone in the blink of an eye. They have to buy back. BKBs being popped inside of the Roshan pit as the BKBs of FBZ and Yopaj allow them to chomp through the Leshrac. Somnus' first life has been taken away. However, they don't have the BKB protection anymore, so they can't jump back in for the second one. With these buybacks on RNG, Boom, they've got what they came for. They know that this wasn't about winning the fight here, Fluke. This was about preventing them from having the Aegis. So now they can't push up the high ground. The game is delayed, and suddenly Boom have a natural advantage going their way again.
Bro, my man Yopaj did a 3.5k damage in that last fight by himself. I don't know how he's done so much damage, but there was a Somnus there and he got melted. He disappeared. He got evaporated. I don't know how it happened, but RNG are still trying to answer that question as well because Boom, I still feel like they're in the driver's seat. Obviously, they had to use the BKB there on Jackie to at least survive that initiation that came in from RNG, but you saw how quick they were able to respond to that, right? They knew that all they had to do was run over towards the Roche pit, and if they're the ones that are on the front foot, RNG have no real way of them being able to get in towards the backline. Shapeshift being committed, they've got two Blink Daggers that are at least floating around on their team members, but if they can't be the ones that are blinking towards the sniper, initially using things like the Pulse Nova and the Avalanche Toss combo, that Jackie's going to be able to put himself in a good enough position that he's going to at least be able to get these auto attacks down. And if he's not the one that's getting the auto attacks down, we saw how much damage Yopaj was able to do when he pops his BKB. So RNG starting to feel the pinch here, especially after losing that second Aegis there, that it's starting to get to a point here, Snare, where RNG, they might have to do something wacky and crazy. I might see some of these weird kind of smokes where they're trying to get these awkward kind of wraparounds and just throw everything they can onto Jackie. But they need to make sure they at least still keep enough in the tank to try and take down somebody like Yopaj, who has been a slippery little bugger today.
Yep. RNG. Window is indeed closing. I mean, to be fair, it's our fault for reminding everybody that they had a north of 90% win probability. Every single time that happens, it's time for it to switch up.
Yeah.
Still though, RNG doing their best to control this map here. Kaka and the crew looking for some kind of pit goals. They're actually looking for pit goals. They're trying to force them home because they're just going to try and chomp down the tier 3 tower. No way. Are they going to get this? They will not. Drew form being popped by Ghost as FBZ jumps onto him with the BKB being active, hoping for a fight here. Tim's yet again with a marvelous impale. Catches Kaka, but the Earth Splitter from Omnis is even better. He has the Aghanim shot as well, so it's creating a lot of space there with the Split Earth. Keeps things good for them. They lose Kaka, to be sure. But given this game state, it could have been a lot worse. Mostly, though, they were here for the tier 3 tower. And the next time they make a cheeky move like that, they should be able to claim it. But that speaks to the nature of where this game is right now. RNG can no longer fight heads up. They have to go for the cheeky plays if they want us to win this game.
Juga bisa
yeah, that's what I was saying. I feel like this game's going to start getting weird and wacky. RNG, I like the ballsy play, man. They just said, hey, what happens if we just knock on the door of Boom? We can see Boom on some of our wards. We know that they're at least towards the top side of the map. What happens when we start knocking on their door? How fast are they to TP? It was all stations a go for Boom as well. You saw the Go-Go Power Rangers, all 5 of them decided to TP towards the tier 3 tower. And they got close. They got close to be able to take out that tier 3, but it was a beautiful initiation there from FBZ. Just forced the rotation that came in there from RNG. Yes, they take down Kaka, but the Split Earth is just too hard for them to try and move in as well. And Jackie just not having that extra bit of damage just yet, especially with the Haitian that came in from Somnus. So you can see how these team fights are going to go for both RNG as well as Boom, and how they need to play around them. So definitely feels like the work are cut out for them for both these two teams right now. And Boom are definitely the team that needs to get this dub here, because if they end their day going, what is it, 1-5? Probably feeling pretty bad about it. But, you know, 2-3, or 2-4, probably pretty okay with how their days ended up being
2-4. 2-4 is, it's not great, but, you know, it's a start. 1-5 is... Oof. 1-5 is the one where, when that starts to happen, late night meeting with the whole team, the coach, the manager, we're like, yo, boys. There's actually an apocryphal tale from, I believe it was TI 5. Which was the one with CDC. TI 5, yeah. So, after Zhao 8 and them, because they lost to CDC some point in the upper bracket, apparently he locked his team in, they went to a hotel room and he's like, no one is leaving until we figure out how to beat those boys.
Sometimes it's like that. You're sitting there, you're stressing over what are we supposed to do, and sometimes you're just gonna play your own game. You're just gonna get your own stuff going forward.
Sniper.
Maybe at the end of
bisa lah menang lah late game lah.
Up to the top. You know, we've seen some good stuff today throughout the group stages here. I've been really satisfied with the wide variety of stuff that we've
Asal
seen.
jangan mati duluan aja sniper ya.
And the amount of comebacks that we've had, like, if this is what group stages are going to be like, man, those guys who are past the playoff games, they're going to be so spoiled. Like, those playoff games are going to be absolutely gnarly. Like, they are going to be insane. If this is what group stages are like, playoffs, god tier.
It's already goated. We haven't even seen a single playoff game, but we already know. RNG officially now slipped behind in the net worth department. Slight lead for Boom, but it's more about the state of affairs in general. Aghanim Scepter just picked up by Yoha.
Enak tembakannya.
This Emberstood also going to be much more effective and impactful in the midst of these team fights. It's not like he's been scary enough, not like he hasn't been dishing out damage already, but now it's even more here, Fluke. Great times.
Yeah, there's a Hex now up on Somnus as well. So they were lacking a little bit of that lockdown on towards the
Teori pakai sniper agar tidak kena comeback kah? Late game auto win kah?
They've got a little bit of extra lockdown, and this could be the surprise as well. I'm not quite sure if they've actually seen
Waduh, musuh
Somnus on any of their
smoking.
boards just yet, so I'm not quite sure
Semuanya
if they even know that
ngilang.
Sex is gonna be up.
Siapa
He
yang mau
has,
digeng?
there's no Lincoln, there's no A on this right
Mau
now. They at least
ngegeng
have
apa
some
mau
4 stars, the
masang
Headcord and the mech.
ward
To at
doang?
least deal with a bit of this damage, but if they catch out Jackie with like a Blink Hex BKB from Somnus and they just get Chalice to run at him and Kaka joins in with a little bit of their Avalanche Tosh combination, they can get rid of their sniper. And getting rid of the sniper for the first time this game is a good time to do it here at 37 minutes. We've seen what happens when it starts getting towards these latter stages and what these teams are able to do. Are they just going to... Oh, no way.
Wih, golnya satu kah?
RNG.
Boom yang
Not running,
memibit.
walk in.
Oh, dia mau
Guys can
naik
kill
ke
this.
high ground.
Are they just gonna go heads up for them? Alright. This is, you wanted weird and wacky. This is not weird and wacky. This is
Cuman
truly
mancing
a
mania ya.
There's nothing you can do about this. Any single
Right.
time you just look away from your base, suddenly there's a bear beating you down. Oh gosh.
They smoke ganked the racks. They literally just smoked it. They walked mid and Ghost said, "Hey, you guys reckon I can kill this tower?" And they said, "Yeah, sure." And he killed the tower in 3 hits and then said, "All right, next is the racks, I guess."
Let's try the racks.
I mean, I talked about it, right? Like RNG, they need to start pulling apart Boom. They need to not take a head-on fight until they start to. If they get one of these lanes of racks, that's when it starts to alleviate a bit of their pressure, right? They've permanently got one of these lanes. They can send the bear down. They get the bear down there. They can push it out. But comes in here. They found Tims.
Waduh.
Indeed, but who's found who in fact? Because Tims finds an impale. Will end up going down. Kaka also in danger. Nice sinister gaze going in.
Rempek.
Picked up a pistol blade. However, FPZ does get off the BKB first. Chalice is the one that has to run himself away.
Sniper.
Still though, Ghost in the midst of the fray. Ghost has no bear. He resummons it right now. And the resummon is going to end up killing FPZ with the assistance of Somnus. Now suddenly Jackie realizes there's a little bit of danger here. He's going to have to go to the BKB, trying to stand his ground versus the bear, versus the lone druid himself. And he's able to kill them both. But now he has no BKB, Fluke. Let's see if he can survive against Somnus, who's in on him with his own BKB. Here comes the Ember, though. We're going to try and buy space and time. Avalanche dropped down by Kaka. Will assist him in killing the sniper at the very end of the day. It's going to be a triple kill for Jackie before he goes down. But Somnus still able to pick up the double. And a TP home to safety will be allowed to do so. But RNG only win that fight off the back of a buyback from Kaka as well as the Lich. Sure, they end up killing Jackie at the end of a long engagement, but it's very problematic how much effort it takes to reach the sniper first and foremost, and then how much effort it takes to actually bring him down.
Yeah, double buybacks came out from XNDRA and Kaka. The entire time I was just watching Jackie. He was sitting away, he was peeping away, but it was actually Somnus who did more damage than him. They caught out Tims relatively early on. FBZ really just couldn't get into this fight and get the unleash going. There was too many stuns. There was too much kind of kiting that was going around. He tried his best to at least get on top of Chalice, but you can just see what happens when these BKBs get kited out, right? You know, Jackie is sitting here constantly through the entire time. He burned through the entirety of 2 bears HP. I think like that's the amount of damage that Jackie did in that team fight. He got through 2 full spirit bears, but Somnus did the same thing. Somnus did 9.5k damage in that last fight as well, and he just walked around with the R button on. And that's when it got really, really hard for Jackie to try and stand and fight. He's got a lot of this net worth, he's got a lot of this extra damage, but if he's spending so much time trying to kill these bears, that he's just not putting that much extra damage in towards these heroes as well. Then, yeah, it's a good shout for him to kill these bears, but he needs to start putting that 9.2k damage in towards these heroes.
Yeah. It's a universe where he was spending all that damage killing the Leshrac, and as a result, with Leshrac being dead, RNG get demolished in that fight. But because Leshrac doesn't die, now Leshrac has access to a cheese.
Tidak bisa. Tidak mau.
Ghost sitting with this Aegis of the Immortal. They do not want to have a situation where they lose the Spirit Bear mid-fight. This bear is fairly strong as well. We saw the impact of the Abyssal Blade. That's actually another small thing, right? Had the Abyssal connected onto FBZ just before BKB had arrived, then FBZ dies faster. Potentially, they can utilize the first bear to try and run down Jackie, and then the second one after BKB is committed. But the way the cookie crumbled, not necessarily favorable initially for RNG until Somnus came for the cleanup job. But they now have gotten the much desired Aegis. Will they be able to do anything with this one? They've been kept a long way away from the base for quite some time now, unless they go for these cheeky smoke plays. Is there a faster way for them to get there and leverage the fact that they have these dual lives on the Lone Druid?
I think they just want to be very, very careful about not just kind of throwing away their Spirit Bear lives. Like they do want to kind of go in and put pressure on towards these Raxes, but they know that Boom have control of this northern side of the map, right? They haven't really been able to go in towards the triangle and kind of kick them out. And if they make their way towards the middle lane, it's going to be hard for them to try and get out of that scot-free, because as soon as they start to push back down past this ramp, they can get wrapped on. They can go towards the bottom side of the map here, which is, I think, what RNG are doing right now. They've got a little bit of control. They've got the outposts of the Dire side. Their creep waves are relatively good in towards mid and top. Maybe try and get them pushed out one more wave. And then they can start putting the pressure in. But yeah, they're just playing oh so cautious. I think RNG know how tight this game can be and how close this game can be if they just let the sniper free hit. So RNG is just playing this very, very slow, very, very calm, because they understand that they're not going to get fought into because they have the Aegis in the cheese, but they also don't want to overstep their bounds and kind of over-press, because we've seen throughout the entirety of the day a lot of these comebacks, longer drawn-out kind of games, and RNG, they don't want to throw, man. They're here to win TI.
Yep. You do not travel all the way to Singapore, find yourself with the 19 other best teams in the world simply for a vacation, just to have some fun with the boys. You came to win TI. You came to be the star of the next true site, which, thank God, does seem to be happening.
Yep.
Menghina saya.
Really in a position to completely close the game out. RNG is slightly close, so they have a set of exposed racks, and we have seen what can happen with this Lone Druid Spirit Bear. The big thing for me about them taking the tier 3 middle is that now there's no more glyph refresh.
Oh,
so they're forced to use another glyph on the side of Boom. And that's it. They have to wait out the full duration of the cooldown. Looks like we're getting another long one here, though, because even with this Aegis, RNG do not feel like they have the full safety to go forward just yet. They want to finish the BKB on Ghost. So he wants to finish that item before he can make any moves. As I say that, though, they do decide to smoke up. 5 heroes missing off the map.
Okay, sama-sama
smoke
smoke.
up as well. 10 heroes.
War besar.
Let's freaking go. This fight could decide the whole damn game. Trap drop down here. Kaka, 2-hero avalanche. But Jopaj able to find the BKB. And Jackie able to find the damage that brings down Kaka. Ghost trying to close down FPZ. They really want to kill the Marcy. She's still alive. She rebounds into the high ground. She survives it all. And Jackie able to bring down the first Spirit Bear in the process. Somehow, some way, Boom Esports mounts a defense despite Kaka catching them first.
Bantai lagi, lanjut.
And boom, they smell blood in the water. They're hunting them here, Fluke. They want to chase them. It looks like RNG are retreating. Is there anybody that they can catch at this point from Boom?
Aduh, gelap kali mapnya.
Charles sits himself in this position here. He does have the shapeshift form to at least be a little bit faster to get away from here, but hasn't been all too much committal from either of these two teams. Just a few BKBs being
bisa di
PC,
di
not
PC.
being able to sniff out RNG. I thought they were going to go towards the
Dota Mobile pun nggak ada.
You can tell that they know that this game is
Cuman
ever so
di
powerful
Steam,
for them, right?
download Steam, download Dota 2.
Constantly throwing
Sip.
this game, because if they overstep their mark, if they try and commit a little bit too hard into Jackie gets a 4K once again.
Aduh, panas dingin ya nonton pertandingan ini ya. Ayo lah Boom menang lah.
So RNG, they're more than happy for this game
Jackie
to be
boys.
chill, right? Because they know
Jack
if they
boy.
get at least 30 seconds with some of these buildings, they're going to have their way.
Scam.
If they start to crack open a few of these lanes, that's when it starts getting scary. But Boomer finally getting to the point where it's getting late game stuff. We've seen what your Paj has been able to do in the past. The Spirit, Aghanim Scepter's up now. Kai Assange is up. He's got his BKB and his Shivers. He's even got the good old Spell Prism. It's always what you like to see on these.
Dota 2, judul Dota 2.
He's getting to the point here on your Paj where he's starting to hit this critical mass where he is permanently hard to deal with. And also does a boatload of damage. It's kind of the
Kalau
same
main
where
di gamenya lebih jernih coy, layarnya lebih HD ya, full HD, Blu-ray, Extreme HD ya.
It is one or the other here in game number 2.
Anti 8-bit, 8-bit. Menit pas di channel nontonnya nih emang udah agak-agak buram.
I mean, you can give this to the Spirit Bear.
Bitrate-nya rendah nampak dia nyiaran nih.
So that's probably the plan, probably the idea here. Unless he wants to give it to the Lone Druid. So then he's just like double running in. That would be hilarious.
Kurang jernih ya.
He's just going to come through on this bottom side of the map. RNG, man. They
Warga.
just have no fear when they go for these kind of plays. And there's the shape-shifted, wolf-bitten Spirit Bear. Seems completely
bantai.
fair and balanced to me.
Oh,
FBZ
bantai.
makes the job. Look who they found. It's Somnus.
Oh my
And
god.
the Leshrac
Ayo,
dies
bantai,
first.
bantai.
That is a huge loss. He does buy back though. Ghost eating some right click damage coming in. Long range from the sniper. Assassinate will be there. Not enough damage to kill him though. 210 to still stay alive. But FBZ, BKB plus bravery equals a dead Leshrac. RNG really finding themselves in an awkward position down on this bottom lane here, Fluke. A certain overcommitment from them.
I mean, sometimes you just got to go, right? Like, if you're the one that's able to catch out these members lacking, and that's exactly what happened to Somnus. He just got caught lacking, man. Like, he come in with the BKB, the Unleash, he gets the bash early on, and Leshrac goes down nice and fast. They're able to take that Ghost as well. That would have been monstrous for Boom, but the amount of times, the amount of games that I've seen, just where somebody just goes into it. Like, you constantly have this humming and ahhing and this indecision.
Atau
It's so
mobil
hard
yang
for you to
paling
try and
kamu
win these
suka
fights because you're
skinnya,
constantly waiting for that
modelnya ya.
perfect moment to come forward, and it never comes forward, and then you just eventually lose the lane of racks, you lose too much of this space, but boom, they say, no.
Grindingnya cepat
As I
kan game
see
itu?
someone, FBZ went in for the perfect time, and they got the Leshrac kill, who now doesn't have buyback. They're going to get themselves a bear kill here as well. So a little bit of extra gold going in the back pocket of Jackie, and
Sejam
boom,
bisa dapat
they're
berapa
putting
duit
RNG
tuh? Bisa
between
beli
a rock
mobil
and a
ya?
hard place.
Grinding
Like,
sejam
what
dapat
RNG is
beli
supposed to
mobil
do
kah?
here? They're running out of
Apa
gold,
beli rumah?
running out of this experience before they get caught up. by
Kapan ya
Boom.
pengen coba itu ya? Hari Senin
And
kah?
eventually this
Senin
game's
sore.
gonna flip, Snare, and I
Apa
think at that
besok
point,
sore ya?
it's gonna get scary. Maybe we get tier 5 items today. Maybe that's today's the day.
I'm hoping so, my friend. Gets caught right quick by Xnova. They allow
Mantap,
Jackie to
dapat
just
satu
finish
kill.
him off with the assassinate. I think at this point for RNG, there's only one thing you can do, Fruit. The only one thing you can do, right?
Networks
You open the Dota trials,
38.000
you
sniper
go through the TI
duit
replays from 2013, study what Alliance was doing,
musuh
and you rat
34.000.
this game to hell and
Nih
back.
orang bom
Ain't no
31.
other option. Yeah, the straightforward
musuh
fight we've already
28.
seen is not gonna go
Nih
bode well for
musuh
them.
23.
Ghost forced to
Nih
BKB
bom
TP out of Spirit.
16.000.
That's the state of the game that we are in right now.
Mungkin lebih unggul
Wow.
di
Yeah,
musuh ya.
definitely feels bad, man. Especially because he had 40 seconds left on the Spirit
Sniper
Bear.
nih.
He does have the Aghanim's Blessing
Bisa
as well here
mengubah
on
alur
Ghost.
cerita
He
nih.
always has ways that he can kind of play around with his bear. He doesn't have to
Mantap
worry
tambah
about the
Aegis nih,
annoying
udah
Leash
double
raises
nyawanya
time.
nih.
Go for an MKB on the bear here as well. So just giving that that
Besok
little
kah?
extra damage. He's getting a bit
Bisa
close to
dipikirkan
being
ya.
at level 25 as well.
Kalau
So
perlu
the base
siang
attack
bus
time,
ID,
once
sore
again, we've seen
CDO
what,
ya,
this bear's
gas
been
ya.
able to do to these buildings. So once he,
Bus
gets
ID jangan
that
diinstal
base
dulu
attack time,
Kita
it's gonna be
mau
very scary. I think the
menamatkan
biggest
Bus
thing for me
ID
is Somnus'
episode terakhir.
item
Beli
progression has been
supir
a bit
cewek.
stunted. Yeah, he does have the
Tamat
E-blade
game
now,
ya,
but
Bus ID ya.
he hasn't
Dikit
really been
lagi
able
tamat.
to move to anything else, especially now that
Oke, fokus nonton lagi.
The buyback is also important. The buyback is also expensive as well. Like looking at Somnus,
Mulut
he doesn't
sampai
have buyback, but he has
kering
4.3k gold, and you're like, okay, he's still waiting for that that overwhelming blink. Still waiting for those extra bits of something here, but this game's just petering out to a bit of a stomp because bit of a halt, not a stomp. Because Boom, they know that they're in the lead. They know that they've got kind of stranglehold of this game, but they also know that they can't really take map control back, right? Because if they start to move out as 5 like they need to do.
Waduh, ada yang bersembunyi di hutan. Hati-hati, yo pajak.
We're in this awkward kind of game state where Boom know that they are the stronger
Tapi kalau
team,
dia ketahuan,
but
dia
they also have
mati
to
tuh
make sure
musuh
that they
itu.
stay together, but also make sure that their lane equilibrium is in a very good spot. They need to make sure that all their lanes are pushed out and make sure that they can't just get
Apa
randomly
tuh,
grabbed,
200.000 apa 2
if
juta
Ghost is
tuh?
able to have,
Titiknya
I think,
200
even 10
soalnya.
seconds alone with a
Salah
tower, if
tulis
it gets
kah?
wolf bitten, he's going to take a whole lane of racks, I think, in about 10 seconds. So it's going to be a very scary prospect. Yeah.
The game state that you're describing to me has happened at TI before. Also at TI 3.
Oke.
IG versus Team
Hayya
DK.
blah.
Burning playing low
Banyak
druid,
ada yang
and
mau ambil
Burning and the
tower.
entire TL Team DK were
Oke,
behind by
dapat
every available
Aegis.
metric in the game. Except Burning. Burning had
Ambil
everything.
Aegis lah, penting lah.
They're trying to rat the game out with this
Aegis,
low
Aegis,
druid.
Aegis, Aegis.
They're about to
Nice.
do the Roche.
Sniper kah yang ambil?
For quite a
Sniper,
very
double
long
nyawa.
time, Boom Esports able to claim an objective on the map that they desire. But it doesn't
Tukar
come for free.
tower.
Tier 3
Oh,
tower
sakit
will
lah.
be removed for this. Tim's gonna try and halt
Bantai lah
the
tu.
push. Here
Majuin
goes in
lah.
Yopaj, looking for Kaka with the BKB being active, trying to run down
guys,
the Tiny.
bantai, guys.
Make sure that he can kill him. Not gonna be able to do so
Nggak
just
mau
yet. So they're
gawar,
gonna
nih.
maybe switch targets. Going north into the jungle here where X Nova is. FBZ was forced into the BKB.
Udah
But
jadi
didn't
nih.
want to rebound too far forward. The objective was to halt the push, and they have succeeded in that endeavor. But still, RNG creating yet another
Karakter bisa
small little window down in this bottom lane. Because now there's 2 exposed lanes of Rax. If anything goes wrong, Fluke,
Let's
anything
go,
goes wrong,
Indo
Rax are
Pride.
falling,
Let's
game is
go.
ending, Boom tilting off the face of the planet.
Suara gede ya masuk ke mic ah.
This is such a tense game. I love it.
Dikit speaker.
Yeah, this is a very, very tense game because you know
Okay.
that RNG, if they get a little bit of time with these
Gede
bases,
karakter ya,
base
batu
race,
eh.
this bear will chunk through
Karakternya
these
batu.
buildings. But also, Boom, they understand that they're ahead, right? Like they're 7k ahead right now. They've got the
Batu
Aegis out on their
berjalan.
sniper. They've got, you know, this Swift Blink. He's building
Batu
it towards
raksasa.
an MPB now as well. Like,
Segede gunung.
Boom are in a really,
Yeah.
really good spot to be able to close this one out, but they just
Segede
can't seem to get
rumah.
these team fights they want to, right? You saw the disengage that came in from RNG. They have the constant roars with the refreshes and the purges.
Mantap damage-nya.
And now it is finally time
harus
for
ada yang
Boom to
jaga
be the
tuh.
ones that are aggressing
Jangan
on
sampai
the map.
keciduk dia
They've
tuh.
got their lanes in a good position.
Jack
Here,
boy.
RNG don't want to show their faces.
Ini mau curi-curi ya.
Maybe a little bit of tier 3 time here for
Enak
Jackie.
nembak tuh,
And
Red.
this game is just
Tower,
getting to
tower.
that late stage kind of scenario, right,
Random
where
nggak lanjut ya.
everybody, like the cores are all 6 slotted. You can't really think of any more items that they're going to be able to get. Tier 5 items are
Waduh,
probably
bisa
going to be able to
ketangkap
crack
nih,
this
bahaya
game
nih.
open. And all it takes
sudah
is getting like
galang,
one
pedas
pick,
juga.
right? Like if Ghost is able to like randomly pick off like Yopaj here, if they're able to catch out Jackie lacking, or even some of the supports here,
Nggak
for Boom,
dosa dong.
that just gives RNG an opening.
Kan cuman karakter game. Tidak masalah diketawakan.
Ghost is going to be able to cut the street wave in the mid lane as well. And if he just even touches a tower, I feel like
Gila
he's gonna
gamenya
fall
lihat
over it.
udah berapa menit tuh?
It's just
Kelihatan nggak?
hard for Boom to deal with, right? Because this is a conventional
53,
game. We just say, okay,
51
Boom,
detik.
you guys are ahead. You guys are sitting in
Bentar
towards,
lagi,
the
sejam
tier
nih
3
game
towers
nih.
were able to take it down, but just it's Rat
Udah
City.
live berapa
And
jam
look
tuh?
what Ghost is
2
doing
jam
again.
udah kayak.
The Bear's going in towards mid. He's going to be able to have
Waduh,
free time with it. Does
Doto
no
ya.
backdoor protection. He's going to be able to get it down.
Ya ampun, cepat banget
lane
udah
Rax.
pusat.
It's actually free.
Robo semua.
It's actually free.
Rax City, bitch! Go down bottom and do the same thing. Ghost is
Doto,
out here. Remember your
Doto.
Bear's a
BKB.
BKB. Bear, Savage Roll. He's actually gonna kill this. They're trying to kill it with Unleash.
Just
Who
commit it.
cares?
Bunuh lah.
Bear's
Nice.
gonna die, but who the hell cares? There we go. 2 lanes of Rax. And also, while this is happening, look top lane.
Capek nih ngurusin
Chalice has been
anu.
constantly keeping this lane
Push,
pushed in
push
as well, with creep wave after creep wave after creep wave, to the degree that the reason they couldn't go high ground, Yopaj had to come back and
Atas
deal with this.
bawah,
And
atas
Yopaj is
bawah
their primary initiator right now.
minionnya.
Even though FBZ can bound forward, Yopaj is their fight winner. So as a
Minion,
result,
creep,
they've
creep,
now
bro,
lost 2
creep.
lanes of Rax. They
Dota
know
jemput
that
dia
if this
creep.
bear ever sniffs this direction again, it's gonna turn into 3 in a hurry. And unlike game 1 here, Fluke, in game 1, at the very least, Boom are the ones to get the first lane of Rax, so they could at least be like, well, game state kind of sucks right now, but at
Nih,
least it's just an
musuh ada yang
equivalence
sembunyi di
in
hutan
terms of
tuh
the
di
super
atas
creeps.
udah
But
dia
now it's just
di sana.
RNG heads up 2 lanes of super
Ini
creeps
harus
ahead.
digeng nih.
Yeah.
Bunuh
Ah,
It just-
what a game.
Yeah. I mean, it's kind of crazy that we're getting
Mana
ourselves
mau
a rat
tahu kan
game
ya,
in
dia main di
2022. I
smart-smart.
thought Admiral Bulldog retired, but Ghost is doing his best
Pasang
impression this
penerang
time around.
kah?
I really think that Boom just kind of need to try and find a fight, right? Like they just need to force RNG to set their attentions towards to Boom. They need to try and get one of these team fights going, see if they can catch out. Yeah, if they catch out Kako and X Nova, yeah.
Mancing war aja lah,
whatever.
sini.
But if they want to try and win this game, RNG need to kind of make the decision about do we throw the bear bottom or do we have the bear here for a team fight? Because the bear is going to be strong in a team fight, right? Like it's a pretty strong bear. But you always constantly need to be thinking about the fact of do I spend my
Menang nih,
time
boy.
or do I spend my time trying to hold the bear?
Waduh,
for a
ini
team
lagi
fight?
nih
Looks like RNG have won the
mencuri-curi.
kind of arm wrestle right now, where Ghost is able to come out on top with a little bit of this scissors paper rock, where he was doing the split pushing, and now Boom had to respond to him, and they get to move out onto the map 5-man smoke as well.
nggak mau
This is so
ini.
tense here, Snare. We're
Mau
4 minutes
ngabisin
away from
Aegisnya
tier 5
doang itu.
items. Lane of Rax has already gone down for Boom.
Ya, 13
Man,
detik lagi.
Yeah, it's going to be a heartbreaker. For whoever loses, it's going to be an absolute heartbreaker.
Creep nggak naik.
Yeah. Sniper also about to lose out on the Asia, so
Ini nih.
Jackie and the crew might not feel as safe moving up on the high ground without it.
Apa ya bahasanya?
And there it
It's got
goes.
10,000 gold.
It's burnt. But what do you spend this on, right? He wants the MKB, but he is completely $6. You have to like BKB, swap it out with the MKB mid-fight. It's not great, and because that also means that you have so much time that you effectively don't have MKB, and it's just like a waste of gold. Jump in, they found Tim's, but at the same time, with Somnus that's been caught off by Jackie. They really want to run down this Leshrac, but they found Jackie. Ghost is on top of him, but he has Satanic, but there is no Aegis. Nullifier will connect onto him as his BKB is about to expire. Kaka trying to help them out here. They are running out of life on the sniper, and they have enough damage from the side of RNG. Somnus dragged away some heroes. He was the distraction here, Fluke. They thought that they were killing Leshrac. Meantime, they were just using him as the greatest red herring of all time. RNG win a fight for the first time in I don't even remember how long. And you know what that means? The push is coming. Ghost and the Bear want to beat down on this range racks in this bottom lane.
He's going to hit the racks, man. Like, he's just going to walk in, he's going to clap it, and that's going to be all she wrote. Ghost is still being oh so careful with the Bear. Look at how much damage! Your punch actually denied it. Your punch actually denied the range racks as well, and they've already cleared out the middle lane. Snare, like, man, what a heartbreaker. Jackie, the one time Jackie is in a bad position, he gets Sinister Gaze coming in from X Nova, and then it's just Bear City. The Bear's out directly on top of his head. This tier 3 tower is the last remaining back. Maybe RNG might get repelled here.
They do end up losing the Spirit Bear. Kaka also in a little bit of danger here. They don't have vision of him, but Yopaj is right next to him with the Flame Guard, so it'll burn him to death regardless. And he drops the gem. Tims will be very happy for this. He's like, hey, now I have 2 eyes. Thanks, fam. Double gems are up. They have buybacks though on both of the heroes currently in the grave for RNG. And unfortunately, all this really did for Boom Esports is buy them enough time for the sniper to respawn. Doesn't get them anywhere on the map.
Oh
no. Fine, bro. Oh no. The cheese. No. How are you supposed to deal with this? Well, there's Megas. That's how you get them. I should have told PGL before we started working that I'm lactose intolerant. Plays like this should be illegal. Yet here we are. Racks. So let me just get this straight, right? RNG, just to refresh my memory, they got Megas without having to commit a single fight. Is that correct?
Yep.
Alright, cool.
Basically.
Cool.
Cool. Just they did the old bear strat. You know, sometimes you walk in, you 5-shot racks, and you feel pretty good about it. But I talked about this one feeling like a bit of a heartbreaker for whoever loses. It's a dirty way to win, but Sarah's TI. I don't think there's any rules here. There's no rules. You kind of you gotta win Dota the way you gotta win Dota. Oh, it's so dirty the way that RNG is doing this, but I love it. I love the way that they're just picking Boom apart. And now it's to a point where, like, you kind of just have to go. I think if you're Boom, you just have to commit now, because like you've been megged, and if there is ever a time for a bear to base race you, he's gonna do it. So RNG are in a really good spot right now. The Boom fighting for the live seat. 60 minutes though, Snare. We can go get some tier 5 items.
Let's see who gets what.
Wow.
Also have level 20 for X Nova, so that means even stronger and more duration on the Frost Shield. Yay. Becomes harder to make this push happen. Look at Jackie. He feels so impotent, man. You have like 400 damage but you can't do anything. He gets tossed back in. This is just to waste his BKB. Now he has to wait for BKB. And they have to go home. They have to come back. Bear's here. Look at Ghost is. Bear's coming through. It's got another BKB. Ghost also has a resummon and a refresher. They're going for the jugular right now. Okay, they all come back. Buybacks are forced. Jackie will be able to get this damage out onto Ghost. So Ghost is gone. He bought out for a refresher. How much short is he? 1,000 gold short of buyback? Oh my god. And because he has no buyback, they don't have a bear to kill this Roche with. Okay, does Chalice have an army? He does. Fluke, so if they knew he didn't have buyback.
War.
Oh, if they knew, we saw Snare, you would be running down middle right now. If you're a Boom player, you are saying go. You need to push down this lane of racks. Ghost is probably holding his breath right now because this is, oh my god, this game is so spicy and weird, man. I told you it was gonna get weird. And now they've got double cheese on Kaka. They have an Aegis on Somnus, who does also have his own buyback, so even if he does die twice, that's a-okay. All right, who's going to get the tier 6 items? Chalice is the one that's looking towards it right now. What if somebody buys... Oh, Tim's, he lost his eye on this. That's not good. If somebody buys a Midas right now, you
Ini
can
siapa
guarantee
yang
tier 5
menekan,
items.
siapa yang
Just
ditekan
put
ya?
no one out there.
Alright,
Who's
who's got
gonna
the
get the
goal
tier
to
5
splurge on the
terlihat
Midas? Sniper,
Jackie
bro,
can.
buy something, my G. Yeah,
Kadang.
Jackie. Buy some Midases for the community, OG. Oh, snap, there we go. There's the first one.
Aduh.
A young Stagey. This could help. I mean, armor reduction has been a major factor of them not being able to go up the high ground. Now that they don't have to worry as much about frost shield. So this is definitely going to help. What else is there? Oh my god, do you see what they just got? Book of Shadows,
5
okay?
versus
Okay.
5.
Now we're talking, baby.
Di Rosan tuh tadi mantap warnya.
Not bad, not
You
bad.
use
not
this,
bad.
this is certainly for the Spirit Bear, right?
Yeah. I think you just dump that on the Spirit Bear. That gives you 5 seconds of invulnerability. You don't have to deal with that bear as well. Kind of interesting combination as well. Ghost has a refresher orb and the refresher shard. I'm not quite sure if you've read the patch notes, but they will share a cooldown. So we can't have like 3 bears in a team fight or 4 bears in a team fight if he plays his cooldown
yang
right.
lagi sendirian atau berdua.
So
Aduh,
RNG, they don't
kena
have any
tangkap
of
kah
their
nih?
neutrals, right?
Ketemu kah?
Not yet. No.
Di sungai.
Summoners can't afford a Midas.
Oh my god. Oh my god.
It's so careful the way they have to play
besar
now,
nih
right?
nampak
Because
nih, boy.
RNG
Pertanda
know that
rusuh
they
ya.
can't just kind of face rush.
Bentar
into
lagi
the
war
base,
besar ya.
especially now that the glyph is back up for building.
Belum ketemu.
Where's the net worth
Cepat
of
lah
it?
war boy.
Oh my god, look at this. Look at this wacky little grab.
Rugi tapi ya. Musuh masih ada Aegis boy.
Beautiful.
Musuh double nyawa boy.
I love that. What I love to me is that point in the game where they have a massive spike in gold in favor of Boom, but a massive spike in win probability in favor of Orange. Speaking of RNG, did you see the items that they just picked up, man? You're not gonna like this. So they got themselves an Apex, which is a pretty big deal. So they got themselves an Apex and a Seer Stone so far. So the Seer Stone, of course, is going to be occupied by the Lich. It's going to be spells from very far away. Chain Frost and Sinister. Look at the Sinister Gaze radius. Are you freaking kidding me? Sinister Gaze should not have a radius this far.
Oh my god. It's literally across the map. X Nova is going to be sitting in the next series. The Kaka's one that picked up the Apex, so it's not the end of the world that they got themselves an Apex. I think like right now.
Semoga besok bisa menang banyak lah.
Look what they got. Click on Mike and click on Chalice.
Gitu.
Click on his backpack. Literally the worst thing for us to be giving. They gave him a Book of Shadows as well. Yeah. Yep. So you can like avoid anything and just force the push with summons. This is so toxic, honestly. I feel like they should give Ghost the Book of Shadows though.
Ini sisa
just so he can just stand there untargetable while the bear just chomps everything.
Yang lain udah
They
kelar
have
kali semua
the
gamenya.
Arcanist armor, so that's a big one here for Ghost. I'd imagine it's probably going to be one of the bear. So where is the bear? No, still the Trickster's close, so maybe Somnus is one that picks up the Arcanist armor. Yeah, so he's the one that has found the Arcanist armor here that has the reflection. Especially because right now Jackie is doing a boatload of damage.
No, Jackie's gonna die. Jackie, oh! What?
Jangan mati, tolong. Apa tuh? Misteri apa lagi? Lah di live chat-in penuh tanda tanya anjay. What TF kata orang-orang.
It's spicy. It's definitely getting spicy. I think at this point, I think you kind of just need a rapier. I think someone needs to buy a rapier. I think Yopaj.
Lah emang apa
What
sih
does he
tadi?
get rid of?
Kayak nggak ada apa-apa dah. Mercy kan? Yang agak keluar dikit. Kira dia bakal
with these sleight of fists. Yeah, so it is Arcanist armor that's going to be on the Sun Bear as well.
Tanda tanya.
This is where it starts getting awkward because we're at this point where it's 65 minutes. You're playing up against a sniper who's able to permanently hold this stuff. They're chunking through this bear.
Ada damage aduh.
Oh, they got Jackie.
Sniper lumayan lah. Ini nggak jadi ya.
Bear's dead.
Tetap aja gebukan ke tower tuh lebih kuat ini. Lama
Nova?
nonton aja lah. Gila lah fokus lah kocak. Wah beruangnya parah. Mau fokus base anjay. Entah caster mana?
Oh, Book of Shadows.
Oh, tuh ada. Caster sudah pusing ya. Ngecast dari pagi sampai malam. Dari jam 9 pagi, jam 10 pagi. 12 jam lah. Lebih. Bantai.
To the big shadow. Oh my god.
Wah, bahaya base-nya kalau ditinggal ya. Kalau ada beruang bahaya. Siapa?
Yeah,
Kapan
he's
buat
gonna
5
have
PS5
another bear in
ini?
about 60 seconds as well. I'm surprised that he's maybe somebody might be able to confirm this for me, but they're supposed to share a cooldown, right? Refresher,
Ngedep war musuh mati 5 baru push lurus.
So why is his other refresher not on cooldown when he used the refresher shot?
Mau clear creep susah. Naikkan creep atas bawah.
Well, he had the
nanti
refresher shot
dia
and the
DOTA
refresher
lagi sama musuh kan.
on Ghost. He had both in that last team fight, and when he lost his first bear, he refreshed for his
dengan
second
ini.
bear.
Londroid.
Unless I'm like tripping Omega Balls right now, it's 67 minutes into
Beruang
this game,
dan
so I could have lost
serigala.
track of it.
Tukang split push.
But I do feel like that he
Yo,
should be
boom
sharing
serigala.
a cooldown. I can't see it anywhere else.
Aduh, mati kah?
Alright, we need to download the replay. Check this out.
Oh
Scam,
my
in danger.
god.
Somnus able to
Tapi
bring him
buyback
down.
ada.
And Somnus and the crew, will they get out is the question. Yopaj jumping after the BKB at the ready. They really want to try and get the kill onto Somnus. He's going to BKB TP out. Now it's Nova might be the one in a little bit of danger. The base
attention to the
is where
base.
things are really important. They need to kill the bear. Every
tukang
single fight they take outside of the base is just to buy time and space for the bear to go and rack behind them. Ghost is somewhat nearby, tries to get the fear off, but they are 100% going to kill this bear. There's no resummon for another 80 seconds unless he pops the refresher orb. But nonetheless, how much time has Boom Esports
Gila,
actually
68
spent
menit.
corralled inside their
Bro,
base?
boleh lah mecahkan rekor ini yang lama. Yang lama kan 2 jam lebih. Ini Boom 3 jam nih bisa nih. Tuh di live chatnya pun ada tuh 6 jam katanya.
I think this is definitely getting to rapier territory. I think Jackie, throw all caution to the wind. Just get yourself a rapier, brother, and hopefully you're able to win the game.
Gak ada yang mau
I
war
don't think
besar
they're
ya
able to
5
actually
vs
deal
5.
with the sniper just yet. Like they aren't actually able to get on top of him and really kind of deal with him, or you're probably to the bottom side of the map and see if they can clear. But
dah kayak nih.
They tried for it. They have him with the sinister gaze. Do they have the lockdown necessary? Indeed, they do. He has buyback.
Ada buyback.
Will almost certainly be forced to commit it here.
Tetap aja rugi
I
tuh.
don't think RNG will be surprised by the fact that he has buyback. Scammer's already bought back, so he needed to TP out. Otherwise, he would die
Beli
back.
langsung hidup lagi.
69 minutes in here, Fluke. We are still going.
Detik
Boom is
mati.
still so strong with Jackie that they're holding this high ground. He needs a rapier.
Boom pun gak berani ninggalin
Gonna be
base
able to get it
nih.
though.
Beruangnya
It's just
cepat
so
dah
hard
tuh.
as well to
Tinggal
travel
gebu
outside of the
aja
base to
base
try and pick up
terakhirnya
said
udah
rapier.
GG langsung.
Here we go.
yeah, I think they need to try and win the next fight and then see if they can get themselves a rapier. They do have the
Situ
sidekick
nyari
provides
kawan kah?
BKB
Main
now
CDO.
from SBC, so
Ah,
they
war.
have something
Wah,
BKB
mau
for.
di base-nya langsung kah?
BKB is galore,
Tuh
but they're not
kan.
about trying to fight here.
Bro,
They really just want
beruangnya,
the
bro.
base. Yopaj trying to lock down Ghost Bear. The bear is going for this.
beruang,
The
bro.
cliff is going to be coming out to buy space and time. But the bear is still alive. The bear is still going. Chalice is also beating down on the racks. They kill Scam Belu.
War,
And they are looking for
war
the
besar,
engine, but they
war
don't have the
besar. Ada
damage.
yang fokus
They
base,
kill
ada
the
yang
bear
fokus
now.
base.
Chalice slowly but surely trying to do it. Look at the chain frost though.
Oh
Bouncing
my
to
God.
everywhere.
Oh
Somnus
my
as well with the
God.
triple kill coming out of the left rack. Somehow, some way, RNG get the comeback. 70 minutes in. Oh my fucking god, what a game coming in from them.
What even happened? It just turned into everybody just saying the ancient is the only way we win this game. They deleted the first bear, the second bear came in, and they were kiting it around, but the chain frost from X Nova, I think it did like 20,000 damage or something ridiculous at the end of that. That was redonkulous, the amount of damage that chain frost did, but holy shit, like what is this group stages, man? It's a 70-minute banger between RNG and Boom. Heartbreaker for Boom. My heart does go out to the boys there over at Boom. What a unfortunate way to go out here in your group stages. Obviously, they're not at the end of the road just yet, but RNG, man. I haven't seen running like that for years from a team to be able to hold out and
Udahlah GG ya, thank you ya. Aku mau lab Overwatch dulu. Off streaming dulu.
I need somebody else smarter than me to be able to break this game down.
Fortunately, we'll probably have the panel coming soon, but that replay we just saw, right? Even some of these fights here, we were talking about how, well, RNG are kind of in a dire situation. They're starting to run out of ways to be able to quickly close out the game. Jackie has such good positioning, super far back in the fight. And all he has to do is stand his ground, stay there. Even in this replay we're going to be witnessing now, after they were able to kill FBZ eventually,
thank you.
Ghost is like, well, we have to try and deal